Numbers. YHWH spoke to Moses in the desert of Sinai in the tabernacle at the appointed place, on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they had come out of the land of Egypt, saying, Take a census of all the company of the children of Israel by their families, according to the house of their father's lineage, registering every male head from 20 years old and up from all that are able to go to war in Israel. You and Aaron will register them for an organized army. And with you there will be a man from every tribe, each one head of his father's ancestral house. These are the names of the men that will stand with you from the tribe of Reuben: Elitzur the son of Shadur. Of Simeon, Shalumiel the son of Zurishaddai. Of Judah, Nashon the son of Amminadab. Of Issachar, Nathaniel the son of Zur. Of Zebulun, Eliab the son of Helon. Of the children of Joseph, of Ephraim, Elishama the son of Ammihud. Of Manasseh, Gamaliel the son of Pedazur. Of Benjamin, Abidan the son of Gideoni. Of Dan, Ahiezer the son of Ammishaddai. Of Asher, Pagiel the son of Ochran. Of Gad, Eliasaph the son of Duel. Of Naphtali, Ahirah the son of Enon. These were the commissioned of the army, commanders of the tribes of their fathers, chiefs of thousands in Israel. Then Moses and Aaron took these men that are designated by their names, and they assembled the entire army together on the first day of the second month, and they registered their pedigrees after their families, according to the house of their father's lineage, from 20 years old and higher according to this head count. As YHWH commanded Moses, so he registered them in the desert of Sinai. And the children of Reuben, Israel's elder son, by their genealogies and after their families, according to the house of their father's lineage by this head count, every male from 20 years old and up, all that were able to go to war. Those that were numbered of them of the tribe of Reuben were 46,500. Of the children of Simeon, by their genealogies and after their families, according to the house of their father's lineage by this head count, every male from 20 years old and up, all that were able to go to war. Those that were numbered of them of the tribe of Simeon were 59,300. Of the children of Gad, by their genealogies and after their families, according to the house of their father's lineage by this head count, every male from 20 years old and up, all that were able to go to war. Those that were numbered of them of the tribe of Gad were 45,650. Of the children of Judah, by their genealogies and after their families, according to the house of their father's lineage by this head count, every male from 20 years old and up, all that were able to go to war. Those that were numbered of them of the tribe of Judah were 74,600. Of the children of Issachar, by their genealogies and after their families, according to the house of their father's lineage by this head count, every male from 20 years old and up, all that were able to go to war. Those that were numbered of them of the tribe of Issachar were 54,400. Of the children of Zebulun, by their genealogies and after their families, according to the house of their father's lineage by this head count, every male from 20 years old and up, all that were able to go to war. Those that were numbered of them of the tribe of Zebulun were 57,400. Of the children of Joseph, namely of the children of Ephraim, by their genealogies and after their families, according to the house of their father's lineage by this head count, every male from 20 years old and up, all that were able to go to war. Those that were numbered of them of the tribe of Ephraim were 40,500. Of the children of Manasseh, by their genealogies and after their families, according to the house of their father's lineage by this head count, every male from 20 years old and up, all that were able to go to war. Those that were numbered of them of the tribe of Manasseh were 32,200. Of the children of Benjamin, by their genealogies and after their families, according to the house of their father's lineage by this head count, every male from 20 years old and up, all that were able to go to war. Those that were numbered of them of the tribe of Benjamin were 35,400. Of the children of Dan, by their genealogies and after their families, according to the house of their father's lineage by this head count, every male from 20 years old and up, all that were able to go to war. Those that were numbered of them of the tribe of Dan were 62,700. Of the children of Asher, by their genealogies and after their families, according to the house of their father's lineage by this head count, every male from 20 years old and up, all that were able to go to war. Those that were numbered of them of the tribe of Asher were 41,500. Of the children of Naphtali, by their genealogies and after their families, according to the house of their father's lineage by this head count, every male from 20 years old and up, all that were able to go to war. Those that were numbered of them of the tribe of Naphtali were 53,400. These are the ones that were numbered that Moses and Aaron appointed, and the commanders of Israel were 12 men, each one represented the house of his fathers. So all those that were registered from the children of Israel, by the house of their fathers, from 20 years old and up, all that were able to go to war in Israel, even all that were registered totaled 603,550. But the Levites after the tribe of their fathers were not registered among them. For YHWH had spoken to Moses saying, "You will not register the tribe of Levi or take the total of them from among the children of Israel. But you will appoint the Levites over the tabernacle of testimony and over all its vessels, and over all things that belong to it. They will bear the tabernacle and all its vessels, and they will service it, and will encamp surrounding the tabernacle. And when the tabernacle is to be pulled up, the Levites will take it down, and when the tabernacle is to be pitched, the Levites will set it up, and the foreigner that approaches it will be executed. And the children of Israel will pitch their tents, every man by his own tribal camp, and every man by his own standard, throughout their hosts. But the Levites will surround the tabernacle of testimony, so that there is no anger of Elohim upon the company of the Israelites, and the Levites will guard the functions of the tabernacle of testimony." The children of Israel instituted all that YHWH commanded Moses, accomplishing it all. YHWH spoke to Moses and to Aaron saying, "Every man from the children of Israel will encamp by his own standard, with the ensign of their father's house, at a distance surrounding the tabernacle at the appointed place they will encamp. And those encamping eastward towards the point of sunrise are of the standard of the tribe of Judah, by their hosts, and the commander of the sons of Judah is Nahshon, son of Amminadab. And his army, and those that were registered with them were 74,600. Those that encamp next to him will be the tribe of Issachar, and Nethaneel the son of Zur will be commander for the children of Issachar. And his army, and those that were registered with them were 54,400. Then the tribe of Zebulun, and Eliab the son of Helon will be commander of the children of Zebulun. And his army, and those that were registered with them were 57,400. All that were registered in the camp of Judah were 186,400, throughout their armies. These are the first to march out. On the south side will be the standard of the camp of Reuben according to their armies, and the commander for the children of Reuben will be Elitzur the son of Shadur. And his army, and those that were registered with them were 46,500. And those that encamp by him will be the tribe of Simeon, and the commander of the children of Simeon will be Shelumiel the son of Zurishaddai. And his army, and those that were registered with them were 59,300. Then the tribe of Gad, and the commander of the sons of Gad will be Eliasaph the son of Reuel. And his army, and those that were registered with them were 45,650. All that were registered in the camp of Reuben were 151,450, throughout their armies, and then they will march in the second rank. Then the tabernacle at the appointed place, with the camp of the Levites will march out from the center of the camps. They will march out in the same order as they encamp, each at his station by their standards. On the west side will be the standard of the tribe of Ephraim according to their armies, and the commander of the sons of Ephraim will be Elishama the son of Ammihud. And his army, and those that were registered with them were 40,500. And by him will be the tribe of Manasseh, and the commander of the sons of Manasseh will be Gamaliel the son of Pedazur. And his army, and those that were registered with them were 32,200. The tribe of Benjamin, and the commander of the sons of Benjamin will be Abidan the son of Gideoni. And his army, and those that were registered with them were 35,400. All that were registered from the camp of Ephraim were 108,100, throughout their armies. And they will march forward in the third rank. The standard for the camp of Dan will be on the north side by their armies, and the commander of the sons of Dan will be Ahiezer the son of Ammishaddai. And his army, and those that were registered with them were 62,700. And those that encamp by him will be the tribe of Asher, and the commander for the sons of Asher will be Pagiel the son of Ochran. And his army, and those that were registered with them were 41,500. Then the tribe of Naphtali, and the commander for the sons of Naphtali will be Ahirah the son of Enon. And his army, and those that were registered with them were 53,400. All they that were registered in the camp of Dan were 157,600. They will march in the rear with their standards. These are the ones that were registered from the sons of Israel by the house of their fathers. All those that were registered from the camps throughout their hosts were 603,550. But the Levites were not registered among the sons of Israel as YHWH commanded Moses. And the children of Israel accomplished all that YHWH commanded Moses, so they encamped by their standards and pulled up camp, every one after their families, according to the house of their fathers. These also are the genealogies of Aaron and Moses in the day that YHWH spoke with Moses in Mount Sinai. And these are the names of the sons of Aaron: Nadab the firstborn, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Itamar. These are the names of the sons of Aaron, the priests that were anointed, whom he consecrated to act as priests in the priesthood. But Nadab and Abihu died in the presence of YHWH, when they approached with strange fire before YHWH, in the desert of Sinai. They also had no children, so Eleazar and Itamar served in the priesthood in the sight of Aaron their dad. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, "Bring the tribe of Levi near, and you will cause them to stand before Aaron the priest, that they may wait upon him. And they will observe his charge, and the charge of the whole nation before the tabernacle at the appointed place, to perform the service of the tabernacle. They will guard all the articles of the tabernacle at the appointed place, and the obligation of the children of Israel to do the service of the tabernacle. And you will give the Levites to Aaron and to his sons, they are consecrated for him out of the children of Israel. You will appoint Aaron and his sons, and they will keep watch over the priesthood, and the foreigner that approaches will be executed." YHWH spoke to Moses saying, "I have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel instead of all the firstborn that opens the womb among the children of Israel, therefore the Levites will be mine. Because all the firstborn are mine, and on the day that I killed all the firstborn, in the land of Egypt I consecrated unto me all the firstborn in Israel, both man and animal, and they will be mine. I am YHWH. YHWH spoke to Moses in the desert of Sinai saying, "Register the children of Levi after the house of their fathers, by their families, every male from a month old and higher you will register." And Moses registered them according to the word of YHWH, as he was commanded. These were the sons of Levi by their names, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. These are the names of the sons of Gershon by their families, Libni, and Shimei. The sons of Kohath by their families, Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uziel. The sons of Merari by their families, Mali, and Mushi. These are the families of the Levites according to the house of their fathers. Of Gershon is the family of the Libnites, and the family of the Shemites, these are the families of the Gershonites. Those that were registered of them, according to the number of all the males, from a month old and higher, those that were registered of them were 7,500. The families of the Gershonites will encamp behind the tabernacle westward. And the chief of a father's house for the Gershonite is Eliasaph son of Lael. The responsibilities for the sons of Gershon in the tabernacle at the appointed place will be the tabernacle, tent, coverings, and the covering screen for the entrance of the tabernacle at the appointed place. And the curtains of the court, and the covering for the entrance of the court that is by the tabernacle, and by the altar all around, and the cords of it for all its service. And of Kohath were the family of the Amramites, and the family of the Izharites, and the family of the Hebronites, and the family of the Uzielites, these are the families of the Kohathites. In the number of all the males from a month old and higher were 8,600, keeping the charge of the holy place. The families of the sons of Kohath will encamp on the south side of the tabernacle. The chief of the house of the father of the families of the Kohathites will be Elizaphan the son of Uziel. And their charge is the ark, table, candlestick, altars, and the vessels of the holy place with which they serve, and the veil and all its service. And Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest will be chief over the leaders of the Levites, and will have the oversight of them that keep the charge of the holy place. Of Merari was the family of the Malites, and the family of the Mushites, these are the families of Merari. And those that were registered of them, according to the number of all the males, from a month old and higher were 6,200. And the chief of the house of the father of the families of Merari was Zuriel the son of Abihail, these will encamp on the north side of the tabernacle. And under the custody and charge of the sons of Merari will be the boards of the tabernacle, bars, pillars, sockets, and all its vessels, and all the items of service pertaining to it. And the posts of the surrounding courtyard with their bases, tent pegs and cords. And those encamping before the tabernacle eastward, before the tabernacle at the appointed place, to the east, are Moses, Aaron and his sons, keeping the charge of the holy place for the obligation of the sons of Israel, and the foreigner who approaches is executed. All that were registered of the Levites that Moses and Aaron numbered at the commandment of YHWH, throughout their families, all the males from a month old and higher were 22,000. YHWH spoke to Moses, "Number all the firstborn from the males of the children of Israel from a month old and higher, and take the tally of their names. The Levites will be reserved for myself, I am YHWH, to be substituted for the firstborn among the children of Israel and the cattle of the Levites instead of all the firstborn among the livestock of the children of Israel." And Moses registered all the firstborn among the children of Israel as YHWH commanded him. All the firstborn males by the number of their names, from a month old and higher, of those that were registered from them were 22,273. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, "Take the Levites instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the livestock of the Levites instead of their livestock, and the Levites will be mine, I am YHWH. And for those that are to be ransomed of the 273 from the firstborn of the children of Israel, that exceed the number of Levites, you will take 5 shekels, about 2 ounces or 55 grams, for each head count, according to the sanctuary shekel, which weighs 20 gerahs. You will give the money to Aaron and to his sons for those numbered in excess from among them who were to be ransomed. So Moses took the ransom money from those who exceeded the tally ransomed by the Levites from the firstborn of the children of Israel. He took the money, 1,365 shekels, 35 pounds, after the shekel of the holy place. Then Moses gave the money from them that were ransomed to Aaron and his sons, according to the word of YHWH, as YHWH commanded Moses. YHWH spoke to Moses and to Aaron saying, Take a tally of the sons of Kohath from among the sons of Levi, after their families, by the house of their fathers from 30 years old and up to 50 years old, all that enter into the service to do the work in the tabernacle at the appointed place. This will be the service of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle at the appointed place, concerning the most holy things. When the camp pulls up, Aaron and his sons will come and they will take down the covering veil, and cover the ark of testimony with it, and will put on it the outer covering of animal hides, and will spread over it a cloth, entirely of blue, and will insert its bars in place. And on the table of the presence they spread a cloth of blue, and will put on it the dishes, spoons, bowls, and the jars of the drink offerings, and the perpetual bread will remain on it. And they will spread on them a cloth of scarlet, and cover the same with a covering of animal hides, and will insert in the bars. They will take a cloth of blue, and cover the lampstand of the glistening light, and its lamps, and its snuffers and fire holder, and all the oil vessels which are used for it. And they will put it and all the vessels within a covering of animal hides, and will put it on a bar pole. Then on the golden altar they will spread a cloth of blue, and cover it with a covering of animal hides, and will insert the bars. And they will take all the implements of service that are utilized in the holy place, and put them in a cloth of blue, and cover them with a covering of animal hides, and will put them on a bar pole. Then they will take away the ashes from the altar, and spread a purple cloth over it, and will put on it all its vessels with which they do service, the censers, hooks, shovels, bowls, all the vessels of the altar, and have spread on it a covering of animal hides, and have inserted its bars. And when Aaron and his sons have finished covering the holy place, and all the vessels in the holy place, in the journeying of the camp, then afterwards will the sons of Kohath come in to bear it up. But they must not touch anything that is holy, or else they will die. This will be the burden of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle at the appointed place. The charge of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, pertained to the oil for the light and the spicy incense and the perpetual meat offering, the anointing oil, and the oversight of all the tabernacle, the holy place, and its implements. YHWH spoke to Moses and to Aaron saying, You will not cut off the tribe of the families of the Kohathite from among the Levites. But do this for them that they may live and not die from touching the holy things. Aaron and his sons will go in and they will appoint every man his task, and will divide the burdens that each man is to carry. But they will not enter to see when the holy things are covered unless they die. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Take also a tally from the sons of Gershon, throughout the houses of their fathers, by their families from 30 years old and up to 50 years old you will number them, all that enter in to perform the service, to do the work in the tabernacle at the appointed place. This is the service for the families of the Gershonites, to serve and for bearing burdens. They will bear the curtains of the tabernacle, and the tabernacle at the appointed place, its outer covering, and the covering of animal hides that are over it, and the covering screen for the entrance of the tabernacle at the appointed place. And the curtains of the court, and the covering for the entrance of the court gate, that is by the tabernacle and by the altar round about, and their cords, and all the implements of their service and all that is made for them, so they will service. Aaron and his sons will appoint all the service for the sons of the Gershonites, in all their burdens and in all their service, and you will appoint them in charge of all these burdens. This is the service for the families of the sons of Gershon in the tabernacle at the appointed place, and their charge will be under the hand of Itamar the son of Aaron the priest. As for the sons of Merari, you will number them after their families, by the house of their fathers from 30 years old and up to 50 years old you will number them, every one that enters into the service, to do the work of the tabernacle at the appointed place. And this is the charge of their burden, according to all their service in the tabernacle at the appointed place, the boards of the tabernacle, and the bars and its pillars with the pedestals. The pillars of the surrounding court with their pedestals, pegs and cords, and all that is needed for its maintenance, you will assign individually by name, the burden that each one is responsible for. This is the service of the families of the sons of Merari, according to all their service in the tabernacle at the appointed place, under the hand of Itamar the son of Aaron the priest. And Moses, Aaron and the chief of the company registered the sons of the Kohathites after their families, and after the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and up to 50 years old, every one that enters into the service, for the work in the tabernacle at the appointed place. And those that were registered of them by their families were 2,750. These are they that were registered from the families of the Kohathites, all do service in the tabernacle at the appointed place, that Moses and Aaron did register according to the commandment of YHWH by the hand of Moses. And those that were registered from the sons of Gershon, throughout their families, and by the house of their fathers from 30 years old and up to 50 years old, every one that enters into the service, for the work in the tabernacle at the appointed place. Those that were registered of them throughout their families, by the house of their fathers were 2,630. These are they that were registered from the families of the sons of Gershon, of all that do service in the tabernacle at the appointed place whom Moses and Aaron registered according to the commandment of YHWH. And those that were registered from the families of the sons of Merari, throughout their families, by the house of their fathers from 30 years old and up to 50 years old, every one that enters into the service, for the work in the tabernacle at the appointed place, those that were numbered of them after their families were 3,200. These are those that were registered from the families of the sons of Merari whom Moses and Aaron registered according to the word of YHWH by the hand of Moses. All those that were registered from the Levites whom Moses, Aaron and the chief of Israel registered, after their families and after the house of their fathers from 30 years old and up to 50 years old, everyone that came to do service and the labor of bearing loads in the tabernacle at the appointed place, those that were registered of them were 8,580. According to the commandment of YHWH they were registered by the hand of Moses, everyone according to his service and according to his burden, so were they registered by him as YHWH commanded Moses. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Command the sons of Israel that they send out of the camp every leper and everyone with a discharge, and everyone defiled by an unclean body. Both male and female you will put outside the camp so that they do not make their camps unclean among where I live. And the children of Israel instituted this, and sent away such people outside the camp as YHWH commanded Moses, so did the children of Israel. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Speak to the children of Israel, when a man or woman will commit any sin that human beings commit, as an unfaithful act against YHWH, and that person is guilty. Then they will confess their sin that they have done, and he will recompense his trespass with the principal, and add to it the fifth part, and give it to him against whom he has trespassed against. But if the man has no kinsman redeemer to recompense the trespass to, let the trespass be recompensed to YHWH, even to the priest, beside the ram of the propitiatory covering, whereby a propitiatory covering will be made for him. And every offering of all the holy things of the children of Israel that they bring to the priest will be his. A person's sacred offerings will belong to the priest so that whatever one gives to the priest will be his. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, If any man's woman turns aside and commits an unfaithful act against him, and a man has sexual relations with her but it is concealed from the eyes of her husband, and it remains carefully hidden and she is defiled, and there is no witness against her or she has been caught. Yet if the spirit of jealousy comes upon him and he is jealous of his woman and she is defiled, or if the spirit of jealousy comes upon him and he is jealous of his woman but she is not defiled, then the man will bring his woman to the priest, and he will bring her offering for her, 1/10 part of an ephah, 2 quarts, of barley meal. He will pour no oil on it nor put frankincense on it, for it is an offering of jealousy, an offering of memorial, recalling depravity to remembrance. And the priest will bring her near and set her before YHWH. Then the priest will take holy water in an earthen vessel, and of the dust that is on the floor of the tabernacle the priest will take and put into the water. And the priest will set the woman before YHWH and uncover the woman's head, and put the offering of memorial in her hands, that is the jealousy offering, and the priest will have in his hand the bitter water that causes the curse. Then the priest will charge her by a pledge and say to the woman, If no man has had sexual relations with you, and if you have not turned aside to uncleanness with another instead of your husband, then be free from this bitter water that causes the curse. But if you have turned aside to another instead of your husband, and if you are defiled, and some man has slept with you besides your husband, then the priest will charge the woman with a pledge of cursing, and the priest will say to the woman, YHWH make you a double curse among your people, when YHWH will make your thigh to waste away and your belly to swell. And this water that causes the curse will go into your bowels, to make your belly to swell, and your thigh to waste away. And the woman will reply, Amen, and so be it. Then the priest will write these curses in a book, and he will blot them out with the bitter water. And he will cause the woman to drink the bitter water that causes the curse, and the water that causes the curse will enter into her and becomes bitter. Then the priest will take the jealousy offering out of the woman's hand, and will wave the offering before YHWH and present it upon the altar. And the priest will take a handful of the offering, a memorial of it, and burn it upon the altar, and afterward will cause the woman to drink the water. And when he has made her to drink the water, then it will come to pass that if she is defiled and has done trespass against her husband, then the water that causes the curse will enter into her and becomes bitter. And her belly will swell and her thigh will waste away, and the woman will be a curse among her people. But if the woman is not unclean but is clean, then she will be free and will conceive offspring. This is the law of jealousies, when a woman turns aside to another instead of her husband and is defiled. Or when the spirit of jealousy comes upon him, and he is jealous over his woman and will set the woman before YHWH, and the priest will do all these directives. Then will the man be cleared from depravity and this woman will bear her depravity. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when either man or woman will separate themselves to make a vow of a Nazirite to consecrate themselves to YHWH. He will separate himself from wine and intoxicating drink, and will drink no vinegar of wine, or vinegar of intoxicating drink, neither will he drink any juice of grapes, nor eat moist grapes, or raisins. All the days of his consecration he will eat nothing that is made of the vine tree, from the kernels even to the husk. During the days of the vow of his consecration no razor will come on his head until the time is fulfilled in what he separated himself to YHWH for, he will be holy and will let the locks of the hair of his head grow. All the days that he separates himself to YHWH he will not come near any dead body. He will not make himself unclean for his father, mother, brother, or for his sister when they die because the consecration of his Elohim is upon his head. All the days of his consecration he is holy to YHWH. And if any man dies very suddenly by him, and he has defiled the head of his consecration, then he will shave his head in the day of his cleansing, on the 7th day he will shave it. Then on the 8th day he will bring 2 turtles, or 2 young pigeons to the priest, to the entrance of the tabernacle at the appointed place. And the priest will offer the one for a sin offering and the other for a whole burnt offering and make a propitiatory covering for him, because he has sinned by that unclean body, and will consecrate his head that same day. And he will separate to YHWH the days of his consecration, and will bring a lamb of the first year for a trespass offering, but the days that were before will be lost, because his consecration was defiled. And this is the law of the Nazirite when the days of his consecration are fulfilled, he will be brought to the door of the tabernacle at the appointed place. And he will present his offering to YHWH, 1 lamb of the first year without blemish, for a whole burnt offering, and 1 ewe lamb of the first year without blemish for a sin offering, and 1 ram without blemish for a peace offering, and a basket of unleavened bread, cakes of fine flour mixed with oil and wafers of unleavened bread smeared with oil, and their meat offering and drink offering. And the priest will bring it before YHWH and will prepare his sin offering and his whole burnt offering, and he will prepare the ram for a sacrifice of peace offerings to YHWH, with the basket of unleavened bread. The priest will also prepare his meat offering, and drink offering. And the Nazirite will shave the head of his consecration at the entrance of the tabernacle at the appointed place and will take the hair from the head of his consecration, and put it in the fire that is under the sacrifice of the peace offerings. Then the priest will take the cooked shoulder of the ram, and 1 unleavened cake out of the basket, and 1 unleavened wafer and will put it in the hands of the Nazirite, after the hair of his consecration is shaved. And the priest will wave them for a wave offering before YHWH, this is holy for the priest, with the wave offering breast and heave offering shoulder, and after that the Nazirite may drink wine. These are the instructions for the Nazirite who is vowed and for his offering to YHWH for his consecration, besides what his hand may obtain as required by the vow that he will vow, so he must fulfill according to the law of his consecration. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons saying, In this manner you will bless the children of Israel, saying to them, YHWH bless you and protect you. YHWH makes his presence shine on you and is gracious to you. YHWH lifts up his face upon you and extends you peace. And they will appoint my name upon the children of Israel and I will bless them. When Moses had completely raised up the tabernacle, anointing and consecrating it with all its implements, both the altar and its vessels, then anointing and consecrating them. Then the chiefs of Israel, heads of the house of their fathers, who were the commanders of the tribes, and were over them that were registered, came near, and they brought their offering before YHWH, 6 covered wagons and 12 oxen, a wagon for 2 of the commanders, and for each one an ox, and they brought them before the tabernacle. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Take it from them that they may be used for the service of the tabernacle at the appointed place, and you will give them to the Levites, to every man according to his service. Then Moses took the wagons and the oxen, and gave them to the Levites. The 2 wagons and 4 oxen he gave to the sons of Gershon, according to their service. And the 4 wagons and 8 oxen he gave to the sons of Merari, according to their service, under the hand of Itamar the son of Aaron the priest. But to the sons of Kohath he gave none, because the service of the holy place belonging to them was that they should bear these upon their shoulders. And the chiefs presented gifts of dedication for the altar on the day that it was anointed, and the commanders presented their offerings before the altar. YHWH spoke to Moses, they will present their offerings, each chief at his scheduled time for the dedicating of the altar. He that presented his offering the first day was Nashon the son of Amminadab, of the tribe of Judah. His offering was 1 silver charger, its weight was 130 shekels, 3 1/4 pounds, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, 1 3/4 pounds, after the shekel of the holy place, both of them were full of fine flour mixed with oil for a grain offering. 1 spoon of 10 shekels of gold, 4 ounces, full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year, for a whole burnt offering, 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Nashon the son of Amminadab. On the second day Nethaneel the son of Zuar, commander of Issachar offered. His offering was 1 silver charger, its weight was 130 shekels, 3 1/4 pounds, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, 1 3/4 pounds, after the shekel of the holy place, both of them were full of fine flour mixed with oil for a grain offering. 1 spoon of 10 shekels of gold, 4 ounces, full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year, for a whole burnt offering, 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Nethaneel the son of Zuar. On the third day Eliab the son of Helon, commander of the children of Zebulun offered. His offering was 1 silver charger, its weight was 130 shekels, 3 1/4 pounds, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, 1 3/4 pounds after the shekel of the holy place, both of them were full of fine flour mixed with oil for a grain offering. 1 spoon of 10 shekels of gold, 4 ounces, full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year, for a whole burnt offering, 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Eliab the son of Helon. On the fourth day Elitzur the son of Shadur, commander of the children of Reuben offered. His offering was 1 silver charger, its weight was 130 shekels, 3 1/4 pounds, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, 1 3/4 pounds after the shekel of the holy place, both of them were full of fine flour mixed with oil for a grain offering. 1 spoon of 10 shekels of gold, 4 ounces, full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year, for a whole burnt offering, 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Elitzur the son of Shadur. On the fifth day Shalumiel the son of Zurishaddai, commander of the children of Simeon offered. His offering was 1 silver charger, its weight was 130 shekels, 3 1/4 pounds, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, 1 3/4 pounds, after the shekel of the holy place, both of them were full of fine flour mixed with oil for a grain offering. 1 spoon of 10 shekels of gold, 4 ounces, full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year, for a whole burnt offering, 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Shalumiel the son of Zurishaddai. On the sixth day Eliasaph the son of Duo, commander of the children of Gad offered. His offering was 1 silver charger, its weight was 130 shekels, 3 1/4 pounds, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, 1 3/4 pounds, after the shekel of the holy place, both of them were full of fine flour mixed with oil for a grain offering. 1 spoon of 10 shekels of gold, 4 ounces, full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year, for a whole burnt offering, 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Eliasaph the son of Duo. On the seventh day Elishama the son of Ammihud, commander of the children of Ephraim offered. His offering was 1 silver charger, its weight was 130 shekels, 3 1/4 pounds, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, 1 3/4 pounds, after the shekel of the holy place, both of them were full of fine flour mixed with oil for a grain offering. 1 spoon of 10 shekels of gold, 4 ounces, full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year, for a whole burnt offering, 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Elishama the son of Ammihud. On the eighth day offered Gamaliel the son of Pedahzur, commander of the children of Manasseh. His offering was 1 silver charger, Its weight was a 130 shekels, 3¼ pounds, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, 1¾ pounds, after the shekel of the holy place, both of them were full of fine flour mixed with oil for a grain offering. 1 spoon of 10 shekels of gold, 4 ounces, full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year, for a whole burnt offering, 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Gamaliel the son of Pedazur. On the 9th day Abidan the son of Gideoni, commander of the children of Benjamin offered. His offering was 1 silver charger, its weight was a 130 shekels, 3¼ pounds, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, 1¾ pounds, after the shekel of the holy place, both of them were full of fine flour mixed with oil for a grain offering. 1 spoon of 10 shekels of gold, 4 ounces, full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year, for a whole burnt offering, 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats and 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Abidan the son of Gideoni. On the 10th day Ahiezer the son of Ammishaddai, commander of the children of Dan offered. His offering was 1 silver charger, its weight was a 130 shekels, 3¼ pounds, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, 1¾ pounds, after the shekel of the holy place, both of them were full of fine flour mixed with oil for a grain offering. 1 spoon of 10 shekels of gold, 4 ounces, full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year, for a whole burnt offering, 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Ahiezer the son of Ammishaddai. On the 11th day Pagiel the son of Ochran, commander of the children of Asher offered. His offering was 1 silver charger, its weight was a 130 shekels, 3¼ pounds, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, 1¾ pounds, after the shekel of the holy place, both of them were full of fine flour mixed with oil for a grain offering. 1 spoon of 10 shekels of gold, 4 ounces, full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year, for a whole burnt offering, 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Pagiel the son of Ochran. On the 12th day Aharah the son of Enan, commander of the children of Naphtali offered. His offering was 1 silver charger, its weight was a 130 shekels, 3¼ pounds, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, 1¾ pounds, after the shekel of the holy place, both of them were full of fine flour mixed with oil for a grain offering. 1 spoon of 10 shekels of gold, 4 ounces, full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year, for a whole burnt offering, 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Aharah the son of Enan. This was the dedication of the altar in the day when it was anointed by the chiefs of Israel, 12 chargers of silver. 12 silver bowls, 12 spoons of gold, each charger of silver weighing a 130 shekels, each bowl 70, all the silver vessels weighed 2,400 shekels, 60 pounds, after the shekel of the holy place. The golden spoons were 12, full of incense, weighing 10 shekels apiece, after the shekel of the holy place, all the gold of the spoons was a 120 shekels, 3 pounds. All the oxen for the whole burnt offerings were 12 bulls, the rams 12, the lambs of the first year 12, with their grain offerings, and the male goats from the female goats for a sin offerings being 12. And all the oxen for the sacrifice of the peace offerings were 24 bulls, 60 rams, 60 male goats, and the lambs of the first year 60. This was the dedication of the altar when it was anointed. And when Moses was gone into the tabernacle at the appointed place to speak with him, then he heard the voice of one speaking to him from off the covering lid that was upon the ark of testimony, from between the 2 cherubim, and he spoke to him. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Speak to Aaron and say to him, When you light the lamps, the 7 lamps will light the space in front of the lampstand. And Aaron did so and positioned the lamps to cast light forward in front of the lampstand, as YHWH commanded Moses. And this work of the lampstand consisted of beaten gold, from its base to its buds, of beaten work according to the visionary pattern that YHWH had shown Moses, so he fashioned the lampstand. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Take the Levites from among the children of Israel and cleanse them. And this you will do for cleansing them. Sprinkle water of purification on them and let them shave all their flesh, and let them wash their clothes and so make themselves clean. Then let them take a young bull with a grain offering, fine flour mixed with oil, and another young bull take for a sin offering. You will bring the Levites before the tabernacle at the appointed place, and you will gather the whole company of the children of Israel together. And you will bring the Levites before YHWH, and the children of Israel will put their hands on the Levites, and Aaron will wave the Levites before YHWH for a wave offering of the children of Israel, that they may execute the service of YHWH. Then the Levites will lay their hands on the heads of the bulls, and you will offer one for a sin offering, and the other for a whole burnt offering to YHWH, to make a propitiatory covering for the Levites. You will set the Levites before Aaron and before his sons, and wave them for a wave offering to YHWH. Thus you will separate the Levites from among the children of Israel, and the Levites will be mine. And after that the Levites will go in to do the service of the tabernacle at the appointed place, and you will cleanse them and wave them for a wave offering. Because they are completely given to me from among the children of Israel, instead of all that open the womb, the firstborn of all the children of Israel, I have taken them for myself. For all the firstborn of the children of Israel are mine, both man and animal. On the day that I killed every firstborn in the land of Egypt, I consecrated them for myself. I have taken the Levites for all the firstborn of the children of Israel. And I have given the Levites as a gift to Aaron and to his sons from among the children of Israel, to do the service of the children of Israel in the tabernacle at the appointed place. And to make a propitiatory covering for the children of Israel, so that there is no plague among the children of Israel, when the children of Israel approach the holy place. Then Moses, Aaron, and all the company of the children of Israel, instituted the Levites according to all that YHWH commanded Moses concerning the Levites, so the children of Israel instituted them for service. And the Levites were purified, and they washed their clothes, and Aaron waved them as a wave offering before YHWH, and Aaron made a propitiatory covering for them to cleanse them. And after that the Levites went in to do their service in the tabernacle at the appointed place before Aaron, and before his sons, as YHWH had commanded Moses concerning the Levites, so they have done to them. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, This applies to the Levites, from 25 years old and higher, when they will begin to do duty in the service of the tabernacle at the appointed place. And from the age of 50 years they will cease performing the service, and will serve no more. But will aid their brothers in the tabernacle at the appointed place to keep the charge, but will do no service themselves. Thus you will institute this for the Levites concerning their obligations. YHWH spoke to Moses in the desert of Sinai, in the first month of the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, Let the children of Israel observe the Passover at its appointed season. On the 14th day of this month at sunset you will observe it in its appointed season, according to all the statutes regarding it, and according to all the ordinances involved with it you will celebrate it. Moses spoke to the children of Israel that they should observe the Passover. And they celebrated the Passover on the 14th day of the first month at sunset in the desert of Sinai, according to all that YHWH commanded Moses, so instituted the children of Israel. And there were certain men who were unclean by a dead body of a man, so that they could not observe the Passover on that day, and they came before Moses and before Aaron on that day. Then those men said to him, We are unclean by the body of a man, why are we withheld so as not to present the offering of YHWH in its appointed season among the children of Israel? And Moses replied to them, Stay here until I will hear what YHWH will command concerning you. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Speak to the children of Israel saying, If any man from among you, or of your posterity will be unclean by reason of a dead body, or is in a journey afar off, still he will observe the Passover to YHWH. The 14th day of the second month at sunset they will observe it, and eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. They will leave none of it until sunrise, nor break any bone of it, according to all the ordinances of the Passover they will celebrate it. But the man that is clean, and is not in a journey but ceases to observe the Passover, that same person will be cut off from among his people, because he did not bring the offering of YHWH in its appointed season. That man will bear his sin. And if a foreigner will reside among you, and will celebrate the Passover to YHWH according to the ordinance of the Passover, then according to its procedure he will observe it. You will have one ordinance, both for the foreigner and for him that was born in the land. And on the day that the tabernacle was reared up, the cloud mass concealed the tabernacle, namely the tabernacle of testimony, and at sunset there was dwelling over the tabernacle the phenomenon of supernatural fire until sunrise. So it was always the cloud mass concealing it by day, and the appearance of supernatural fire by night. And when the cloud mass ascended up from the tabernacle, then after that the children of Israel journeyed, and in the place where the cloud mass settled down, there the children of Israel pitched their tents. At the commandment of YHWH the children of Israel journeyed, and at the commandment of YHWH they encamped as long as the cloud mass settled down upon the tabernacle, they rested in their tents. And when the cloud mass remained upon the tabernacle many days, then the children of Israel kept the charge of YHWH and did not journey. And so it was when the cloud mass was a few days upon the tabernacle according to the commandment of YHWH they encamped, and according to the commandment of YHWH they journeyed. And sometimes the cloud mass stayed only from sunset to sunrise, but the cloud mass has ascended in the morning, then they pulled up camp, whether by day or by night. When the cloud mass has ascended up, then they have pulled up camp. Whether the cloud mass remained over the tabernacle for 2 days or a month or a year, the Israelites would stay in camp and not pull up, but when it lifted then they would pull up camp. At the commandment of YHWH they encamped, and at the commandment of YHWH they pulled up camp. They kept the charge of YHWH, at the commandment of YHWH by the hand of Moses. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Make yourself 2 trumpets of silver, of hammered work you will fashion them that you may use them for the calling of the nation, and for the pulling up stakes of the camps. And when they will blow with them, all the nation will assemble themselves to you at the entrance of the tabernacle at the appointed place. If they blow with 1 trumpet then the commanders that are chiefs of the thousands of Israel will gather themselves to you. When you blow an alarm, then the camps that lie on the eastern quadrant will pull up stakes. When you blow an alarm the second time, then the camps that lie on the southern quadrant will pull up stakes, they will blow an alarm for their breaking camp. But when the nation is to be gathered together, you will blow but you will not sound an alarm. And the sons of Aaron, the priests will blow with the trumpets, and this will be a statute for the ages to your generations. And if you go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresses you, then you will blow an alarm with the trumpets, and you will be remembered before YHWH your Elohim, and you will be delivered from your enemies. Also in the times of rejoicing, and in your appointed seasons, and at the start of each month, you will blow with the trumpets over your whole burnt offerings, and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings. These will be to you for a memorial before your Elohim. I am YHWH your Elohim. And it came to pass on the 20th day of the second month, in the second year, that the cloud mass ascended up from off the tabernacle of the testimony. And the children of Israel took their journeys out of the desert of Sinai, and the cloud mass settled down in the uninhabited land of Paran. And they first pulled up stakes according to the commandment of YHWH by the hand of Moses. The first to pull up their standard was the camp of the children of Judah's tribe, according to their armies, and over them was Nashon the son of Amminadab. Over the army of the tribe of the children of Issachar was Nathaniel the son of Zuar. Over the army of the tribe of the children of Zebulun was Eliab the son of Helon. And the tabernacle was taken down, and the sons of Gershon and the sons of Merari pulled up stakes, bearing the tabernacle. The standard of the camp of Reuben pulled up stakes according to their armies, and over them was Elitzur the son of Shadur. Over the army of the tribe of the children of Simeon was Shalumiel the son of Zurishaddai. Over the army of the tribe of the children of Gad was Eliasaph the son of Duo. And the Kohathites have pulled up stakes, bearing the holy place items, and the others have raised up the tabernacle ready for their arrival. The standard of the camp of the children of Ephraim pulled up stakes according to their armies, and over them was Elishama the son of Ammihud. Over the army of the tribe of the children of Manasseh was Gamaliel the son of Pedazur. Over the army of the tribe of the children of Benjamin was Abidan the son of Gideoni. The standard of the camp of the children of Dan's tribe pulled up stakes, who were the rearguard quadrant of all the camp's armies, and over them was Ahizah the son of Ammishaddai. Over the army of the tribe of the children of Asher was Pagiel the son of Ochran. Over the army of the tribe of the children of Naphtali was Ahurah the son of Enon. This was the order for breaking of camps for the children of Israel according to their armies when they pulled up stakes. Moses spoke to Hobab, the son of Ragel the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law, We are journeying to the place of which YHWH said, I will give this land to you, so come with us and we will do you good, for YHWH has spoken good concerning Israel. But he replied to him, I will not go, but I will leave for my own land, and to my relatives. And he replied, Do not leave us, because you have known our encamping in the desert, and you have been our eyes, scouting for us. Now it will be that if you journey with us, it will come about that whatever benefits YHWH does for us, we will do for you likewise. Then they pulled up stakes from the mountain of YHWH, a 3 days' journey, and the ark of the covenant of YHWH went before them in the 3 days' journey, to search out a resting place for them. And the cloud mass of YHWH was upon them by day when they broke camp. Then when the ark pulled out, Moses said, Rise up, YHWH, and let your enemies be scattered, and let them that hate you flee from your presence. And when it settled down he said, Return, O YHWH, to the many thousands of Israel. Later when the people complained, it displeased YHWH, and YHWH heard it and his nostrils flared, and the supernatural fire of YHWH flamed out among them, and burnt them up that were in the outskirts of the camp. Then the people cried to Moses, and when Moses prayed to YHWH, the supernatural fire subsided. He called the name of the place Taberah, burning, because the supernatural fire of YHWH flamed out among them. And a mob of people that were among them craved for food and drink, and the children of Israel also wept again and said, Who will give us meat to eat? We remember the fish that we ate in Egypt freely, the cucumbers, watermelons, green herbage, onions, and the garlic. But now our body's appetite is dried up, there is nothing at all to eat except this manna in our sight. The manna was as coriander seed, and its quality was like the quality of gum resin. And the people went about and gathered it, and ground it in mills, or beat it in a mortar, and baked it in pans and made cakes and waffles out of it, and the taste of it was like dainty bits with fresh oil. And when the dew descended on the camp in the night, the manna also descended. Then Moses heard the people weep throughout their families, every man in the entrance of his tent, and the anger of YHWH burned exceedingly. Moses also was saddened. And Moses said to YHWH, How come you have broken in pieces your servant? And how come I have not found favor in your sight, that you appoint the burden of all these people upon me? Have I conceived all these people? Have I gendered them that you should say to me, Carry them in your bosom as a foster father bears the sucking child, to the land that you adjured by oath to their fathers? Where can I obtain meat to give to all this people? For they shed tears to me, saying, Give us meat that we may eat. I am not able to bear all these people by myself, because they are too difficult for me to handle. If you deal this way with me, slay me, I pray, out of hand, that I may not see your badness. YHWH spoke to Moses, Gather to me 70 men from the elders of Israel, who you know to be the elders of the people, and officers over them, and bring them to the tabernacle at the appointed place, that they may stand there with you. And I will come down and talk with you there, and I will take from the Spirit that is upon you, and will put it upon them, and they will bear the burden of the people with you, so that you bear it not yourself alone. And tell the people, Consecrate yourselves for tomorrow, because you will eat meat, for you have shed tears in the ears of YHWH, saying, Who will give us meat to eat? For we fared better in Egypt, therefore YHWH will give you meat, and you will eat. You will not eat 1 day, 2 days, 5 days, 10 days, or 20 days, but a whole month, until it comes out of your nostrils and is loathsome to you. This is because you have despised YHWH that is among you, and have shed tears before him, saying, Why did we come out of Egypt? Then Moses inquired, The people around me are 600,000 footmen, and you have said, I will give them meat that they may eat a whole month. Will the flocks and the herds be slaughtered for them, to satisfy them? Or will all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them to satisfy them? YHWH replied to Moses, Is YHWH's hand become short? You will now see whether my word will come to pass for you or not. And Moses went out and told the people the words of YHWH, and gathered the 70 men from the elders of the people and set them around the tabernacle. And YHWH came down in a cloud mass and spoke to him, and took of the Spirit that was upon him and gave it to the 70 elders, and when the Spirit rested upon them they prophesied, but did not do it again. But there were left behind 2 of the men in the camp, the name of one was Eldad and the other Medad. And the Spirit rested upon them, they were written in the registry but did not go out to the tabernacle, yet they prophesied in the camp. And there ran a young man who told Moses, saying, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. Then Joshua the son of Nun, the servant of Moses, and one of his young men answered and said, My master Moses, forbid them. But Moses replied to him, Are you jealous of me? Oh, that all YHWH's people were prophets. That YHWH would put his Spirit upon them. Then Moses returned to the camp, he and the elders of Israel. Later a wind went out from YHWH and swept quail in from the sea. It brought them down surrounding the camp, to within 3 feet of the ground, as far as a day's journey in all directions. And the people stayed up all that day and all that night, and all the next day, and gathered the quails. He who had gathered the least had 10 homers, 60 bushels, and they spread them out for themselves around the camp. And while the meat was still between their teeth, not yet chewed, then the nostrils of YHWH flared against the people, and YHWH struck the people with a very great slaughter. And he called the name of that place Kibroth Hattaavah, graves of lust, because there they buried the people that lusted. Then the people pulled up stakes from Kibroth Hattaavah, going to Hazeroth, and stayed at Hazeroth. Now Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Cushite woman whom he had married, for he had married a Cushite woman. And they said, Has Adonai spoken only by Moses? Has he not spoken by us also? And YHWH heard it. But the man Moses is very humble, more than any of the men who are on the surface of the ground. YHWH spoke suddenly to Moses, and to Aaron and Miriam, "Let all three of you come out to the tabernacle at the appointed place." And the three came out. YHWH came down in the pillar of the cloud mass and stood in the entrance of the tabernacle, and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forward. And he said, "Hear now my words, if there is a prophet among you, I YHWH will make myself known to him in a vision, and will speak to him in a dream. My servant Moses is not such a prophet, who is faithful in all my house. With him I will speak mouth to mouth and by an appearance, and not in riddles, and the similitude of YHWH will he behold. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?" And the nostrils of YHWH flared against them, and he departed. Then the cloud mass departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow, and Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. Aaron said to Moses, "Alas, my master, I beg you, lay not this sin upon us, as we have done foolishly and so we have sinned. Let her not, I pray, be as one that is stillborn, when in his coming out from the womb of his mother, the half of his flesh is consumed." And Moses cried to YHWH saying, "Heal her now, O Elohim, I beg you." YHWH replied to Moses, "If her dad had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp for 7 days, and after that let her be taken in again." And Miriam was shut out from the camp for 7 days, and the people did not pull up stakes until Miriam was taken in again. And afterward the people pulled up stakes from Hazeroth, and pitched in the uninhabited land of Paran. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, "Send some men that they may spy out the land of Canaan that I give to the children of Israel. And from every tribe of their fathers you will send a man, every one a chief among them." And Moses by the commandment of YHWH sent them from the uninhabited land of Paran. All those men were chiefs of the children of Israel. These were their names: of the tribe of Reuben, Shammua the son of Zaccur. Of the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat the son of Hori. Of the tribe of Judah, Caleb the son of Jephunneh. Of the tribe of Issachar, Igal, the son of Joseph. Of the tribe of Ephraim, O'Shea the son of Nun. Of the tribe of Benjamin, Palti the son of Raphu. Of the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel the son of Sodi. Of the tribe of Joseph, specifically of the tribe of Manasseh, Gadi the son of Suzi. Of the tribe of Dan, Amiel the son of Gamali. Of the tribe of Asher, Sethur the son of Michael. Of the tribe of Naphtali, Nabi the son of Vophsi. Of the tribe of Gad, Geuel the son of Maki. These are the names of the men that Moses sent to spy out the land. And Moses called O'Shea, Hosea, the son of Nun, Yeshua, Joshua. Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan and said to them, "Take this direction southward and go up into the hill country of Negev. And inspect the land, what it is like, and the people that live there, whether they are strong or weak, few or numerous. And what is the land like that they live in, whether it is good or bad, and what cities there are that they reside in, whether in tents or in fortified cities. And what the land is like, whether it is fat or lean, and whether there are wooded forests or not. And be of good courage and bring back of the fruits of the land." Now the time was the season for the first fruit harvest of grapes. So they went up and searched the land from the desert of Zin to Rehob, as men come to Hamath. And they ascended by the south, and came to Hebron, where Ahiman, Shishai, and Talmai, the children of Anak lived. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. And they came to the valley of Eshcol, and cut down from there a branch with one cluster of grapes, and 2 of them carried it between a pole, and they brought some pomegranates and figs. The place was called the Wadi Eshcol, because of the cluster of grapes that the children of Israel cut down from there. Then they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. They went and came to Moses and to Aaron, and to all the nation of the children of Israel, to the uninhabited land of Paran, to Kadesh, and brought back word to them and to all the nation, and exhibited to them the fruits of the land. They reported to him and said, "We came to the land where you sent us, and it certainly flows with milk and honey, and this is some of its fruits. Nevertheless the people are strong that live in the land, and the cities are fortified and very large, and also we saw the children of Anak there. The Amalekites reside in the land of the south, and the Hittites, Jebusites, and the Amorites live in the hill country, and the Canaanites live near the sea and by the sides of the Jordan River." And Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, "Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to prevail against it." But the men that went up with him said, "We are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we are." And they brought up an evil report of the land that they had spied out for the children of Israel, saying, "The land that we have gone to search is a land that devours up the inhabitants. And all the people that we saw in it are men of a great stature. And there we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, which come from the giants, and we were in our own eyes as grasshoppers, and so we were to their sight." And all the nation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, and the whole nation said to them, "Oh that we had died in the land of Egypt, or in this uninhabited land, oh that we had died. Why now has YHWH brought us to this land, to fall by the sword so that our women and our children should be a prey? Would not it be better for us to return to Egypt?" And they said to each other, "Let us assign a chief and let us return to Egypt." Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before the entire gathering of the nation of Israel. And Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, who were from them that searched the land, ripped their clothes. Then they spoke to all the company of the children of Israel, saying, "The land that we passed through to search is an exceedingly good land. If YHWH delight in us, then he will bring us into this land, and will give it to us, a land that flows with milk and honey. Only do not rebel against YHWH, neither fear the people of the land, for they are morsels for us. Their protection has departed from them, and YHWH is with us, so fear them not." But all the nation talked of stoning them with stones. And the glory of YHWH appeared in the tabernacle at the appointed place before all the children of Israel. YHWH spoke to Moses, "How long will this people provoke me? And how long will they refuse to believe in me for all the signs that I have shown among them? I will exterminate them with disease and disinherit them, and will make from you a greater nation and mightier than they." Moses replied to YHWH, "Then the Egyptians will hear it, since you brought up this people in your might from among them. And they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land, because they have heard that you, YHWH, are among these people, and that you, YHWH, are seen face to face, and that your cloud mass stands over them. And that you go before them by day in a pillar of cloud mass, and in a pillar of supernatural fire by night. Now if you will kill all these people as one man, then the nations that have heard the fame of you will speak, saying, because YHWH was not able to bring this people into the land that he adjured to them, therefore he has slain them in the uninhabited land. And now let the power of my Adonai be magnified, according as you have spoken, saying, YHWH is slow to anger and is of abounding goodness, forgiving depravity and transgression, but by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the depravity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generations. Pardon the depravity of this people according to the magnitude of your faithfulness, just as you have carried up this people from Egypt until now." And YHWH replied, "I have pardoned according to your word. But as truly as I live, all the earth will be filled with the glory of YHWH. Because all those men that have seen my glory, and my signs that I did in Egypt and in the desert, and have tested me now these 10 times and have not obeyed my voice, certainly they will not see the land that I adjured to their forefathers, neither will any of them that spurned me see it. But my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him, and has followed me fully, him will I bring into the land where he went, and his offspring will possess it." Now the Amalekites and the Canaanites lived in the valley. Tomorrow turn yourselves around and depart into the desert by the way of the Red Sea. YHWH spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, "How long will I bear with this bad nation that complains against me? I have heard the complaints of the children of Israel, that they murmur against me. Say to them, as truly as I live, says YHWH, as you have spoken in my ears, so I will do for you. Your corpses will fall in this desert, and all that were registered of you, according to your total number, from 20 years old and up, that have complained against me. Certainly you will not come into the land, concerning what I adjured to make you reside in, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh, and Joshua the son of Nun. But your children that you said would be a spoil, them I will bring in, and they will experience the land that you have rejected. But as for you, your corpses will waste away in this desert. And your children will wander in the desert 40 years, and bear your fornication, until your carcasses are consumed in the desert. According to the number of the days that you spied out the land, even 40 days, each day for a year will you bear your depravities, even 40 years, and you will know my enmity. I YHWH have commanded, I will certainly accomplish it, towards this bad nation that are gathered against me in this uninhabited land, they will come to an end, and there they will die." And the men that Moses sent to search the land, who returned and made all the nation to complain against him, by bringing up a slander upon the land, even those men that brought up the evil report about the land, died by a fatal stroke before YHWH. But Joshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, that were of the men that went to search the land, remained alive. And Moses told these sayings to all the children of Israel, and the people mourned exceedingly. And they rose up early at sunrise, and took themselves up to the top of the mountain, saying, We are here, and will go up to the place that YHWH has promised, for we have sinned. But Moses replied, Why now are you transgressing the commandment of YHWH? This will not be a successful undertaking. Do not go up, because YHWH is not among you, so that you are not stricken before your enemies. For the Amalekites and the Canaanites are there before you, and you will fall by the sword because you are turned away from YHWH, so understand that YHWH will not be with you. But they presumed to go up to the hilltop, nevertheless the ark of the covenant of YHWH, and Moses did not depart out of the camp. Then the Amalekites came down and the Canaanites that lived in the hill country, and beat them and crushed them to pieces, even as far as Hormah. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, When you are come into the land of your residence that I give to you, and will make a burnt offering by fire to YHWH, a whole burnt offering, to fulfill a vow or as freewill offering, or in your appointed times to make a tranquilizing aroma unto YHWH, of the herd or of the flock. Then will he that presents his offering to YHWH bring a grain offering of 1/10 part of flour, 2 quarts, mixed with 1/4 part, 1 quart, of an hin of oil. And 1/4 part of a hin of wine, 1 quart, for a drink offering you will prepare with a whole burnt offering or sacrifice, for 1 lamb. Or for a ram you will prepare for a grain offering 2/10 part of flour, 4 quarts, mixed with the 1/3 part of a hin of oil, 1/4 quarts. And for a drink offering you will present 1/3 part of a hin of wine, 2½ pints, for a tranquilizing aroma unto YHWH. And when you prepare a bull for a whole burnt offering, or for a sacrifice at separating a vow, or peace offerings unto YHWH, then will he bring with a bull a grain offering of 3/10 parts of flour mixed, 6 quarts, with half a hin of oil 2 quarts. And you will bring for a drink offering half hin of wine, 2 quarts, for a burnt offering made by fire, a tranquilizing aroma unto YHWH. So will it be done for 1 bull, 1 ram, a lamb, or a female goat. According to the number that you will prepare, so will you do to everyone according to their count. All that are native Israelites will do these things this way, in offering a burnt offering made by fire, of a tranquilizing aroma unto YHWH. If a foreigner resides with you, or whoever is among you in your generations, and will bring a burnt offering made by fire, of a tranquilizing aroma unto YHWH, as you do, so he will do. One statute will be both for you of the nation, and also for the foreigner that resides with you, a statute for the ages in your generations, as you are, so will the foreigner be before YHWH. One law and one judgment will be for you, and for the foreigner that resides with you. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, When you come into the land where I bring you, then it will be when you eat from the bread of the land you will lift up a heave offering to YHWH. You will lift up a cake from the first of your dough for a heave offering, as you did for the heave offering from the threshing floor, so will you raise it up. Of the first of your dough you will give to YHWH, a heave offering in your generations. And if you have erred and not observed all these commandments that YHWH has spoken to Moses, even all that YHWH has commanded you by the hand of Moses, from the day that YHWH commanded Moses and forward throughout your generations. Then it will be if something is done, as a sin of error, or by inadvertence, without the knowledge of the nation, that all the nation will offer 1 young bull for a whole burnt offering. This will be for a tranquilizing aroma to YHWH, with the grain offering and drink offering, in accordance with the judgment, and 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering. Then the priest will make a propitiatory covering for all the nation of the children of Israel, and it will be forgiven them. This is for the sin of error, and they will bring their offering, a sacrifice made by burnt offering to YHWH, and their sin offering before YHWH for their inadvertent sin. And it will be forgiven all the nation of the children of Israel, and the foreigner that lives among them, seeing how all the people were in error. Also if any person sins unintentionally, then he will bring a female goat of the first year for a sin offering. The priest will make a propitiatory covering for the person that goes astray, when he sins unintentionally before YHWH, to make a propitiatory covering for him, and it will then be forgiven him. You will have 1 law for him that sins unintentionally, both for him that is born among the children of Israel, and for the foreigner that lives among them. But the person who acts in an exalted fashion, whether he is born in the land or a foreigner, the same blasphemes YHWH, and that person will be cut off from among his people. Because he has despised the word of YHWH and has broken his commandment, that person will be cut off and eliminated, his depravity will be upon him. And while the children of Israel were in the desert, they found a man that gathered sticks on the Sabbath day. Then they that found him gathering the sticks brought him to Moses and Aaron, and to all the nation. And they put him in prison, because it was not clarified what should be done to him. YHWH spoke to Moses, The man will certainly be put to death, all the gathering will stone him with stones outside the camp. And all the gathering brought him outside the camp and stoned him with stones, and he died as YHWH commanded Moses. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Speak to the children of Israel and tell them to fashion tassels at the corners of their clothing throughout their generations, and that they attach to the tassels at the corners a twisted thread of violet. And for you it will be a tassel so that you may look on it and remember all the commandments of YHWH, and do them, so that you seek not after your own understanding and your own mental faculties by which you commit fornication. That you may remember, and do all my commandments and be set apart for your Elohim. I am YHWH your Elohim that brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your Elohim. I am YHWH Elohim. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took a group and they rose up before Moses with men from the children of Israel, 250 chiefs from the company, famous in the nation and men of reputation. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and Aaron and said to them, You take too much upon yourselves, seeing all the nation is set apart, every one of them, and YHWH is among them. Why then exalt yourselves above the nation of YHWH? And when Moses heard it he fell on his face. And he spoke to Korah and to all his company saying, Tomorrow morning YHWH will show who are his and who is set apart, and who may present offerings to him. The one who YHWH chooses may present them. Do this, take fire holders, Korah and all his company, and put fire and incense in them before YHWH tomorrow, and it will be that the man who YHWH will choose will be set apart. You take too much upon yourselves, you sons of Levi. And Moses said to Korah, Listen, ye sons of Levi, is it a small thing for you that the Elohim of Israel has separated you from the nation of Israel, to bring you near to himself to do the service of the tabernacle of YHWH, and to stand before the nation to serve them? He has brought you near to himself, and all your relatives the sons of Levi with you, and you seek the priesthood also? For which cause both you and all your company are gathered together against YHWH, and who is Aaron that you complain against him? And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, who said, We will not come up. Is it a small thing that you have brought us up out of a land that flows with milk and honey to kill us in the desert, except you make yourself a prince over us? What is more, you have not brought us into a land that flows with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Will you gore out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. And Moses was very furious and said to YHWH, Do not accept their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them, nor have I done bad to even one of them. And Moses said to Korah, You and all your company, come before YHWH, you and all your followers along with Aaron tomorrow. And take every man his fire holder, and put incense in them, and bring yourselves before YHWH every man with his fire holder, 250 fire holders, you also and Aaron, each of you with his fire holder. They took every man his fire holder, and put fire in them and laid incense in it, and stood at the entrance of the tabernacle at the appointed place with Moses and Aaron. And Korah gathered the entire nation against them at the entrance of the tabernacle at the appointed place, and the glory of YHWH appeared to the entire nation. YHWH spoke to Moses and Aaron saying, Separate yourselves from among this nation so that I may consume them in a flash. And they fell upon their faces and said, O Elohim, the Elohim of the spirits of all flesh, will one man sin, and will you be angry with all this nation? YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Speak to the nation saying, Get away from around the dwelling places of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Then Moses rose up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spoke to the nation saying, Depart from the tents of these criminal men, and touch nothing of theirs unless you are swept away in all their sins. So they got up from the dwelling places of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, on every side, and Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the entrance of their tents, and their women and their sons, and their little children. And Moses said, Hereby you will know that YHWH has sent me to do all these works, because I have not done them of my own mind. If these men die the common death of all men, or merely experience the common fate of man, then YHWH has not sent me. But if YHWH creates a new marvel, and the ground opens her mouth and swallows them up with all that pertain to them, and they descend quickly into the underground, Sheol, then you will understand that these men have provoked YHWH. Then just as he had finished speaking all these words, suddenly the ground split open that was under them. And the ground opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their tents with all the people that associated with Korah, and all their possessions. They and all that pertained to them went down alive into Sheol, and the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the nation. And all Israel that were around them fled at the sounds of them, for they said, Unless the ground swallow us up also. And there came out a supernatural fire from YHWH and consumed the 250 men that presented incense. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Speak to Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, to pick the fire holders out of the smoldering remains and scatter the fire from them far off from here. The fire holders from these sinners who have sinned at the expense of their own lives, let them fashion beaten out plates as an overlay of the altar, because they presented them before YHWH, therefore they are consecrated, and they will be a remembrance for the children of Israel. And Eleazar the priest took the bronze fire holders, that they who were burned up had brought near, and they beat them out for an overlay of the altar. To be a memorial to the children of Israel, that no foreigner that is not of the offspring of Aaron approaches to burn incense before YHWH, that he will not become as Korah and as his company, as YHWH said to Eleazar through Moses. But the next day all the nation of the children of Israel complained against Moses and Aaron, saying, You have killed the people of YHWH. Now as the nation was gathered against Moses and Aaron, that they looked towards the tabernacle at the appointed place, and the cloud mass concealed it, and the glory of YHWH inspected. And Moses and Aaron came before the tabernacle at the appointed place. YHWH spoke to Moses, saying, Get away from among this nation, that I may consume them in a flash. And they fell upon their faces. And Moses said to Aaron, Take a fire holder and put fire in it from off the altar, and put on incense, and go quickly to the nation and make a propitiatory covering for them, for anger has gone out from YHWH and the fatal striking has begun. And Aaron carried away as Moses commanded, and ran into the middle of the nation, for the fatal striking had begun among the people, and he put on incense, and made a propitiatory covering for the people. And he stood between the dead and the living, and the slaughter was restrained. Now those that died in the slaughter were 14,700, besides them that died concerning the matter of Korah. And Aaron returned to Moses at the entrance of the tabernacle at the appointed place, and the slaughter was stopped. YHWH spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and take from every one of them a staff according to the house of their fathers. From all their chiefs take the 12 staffs, and write every man's name upon his staff. You will write Aaron's name upon the staff of Levi, for one staff will represent the head of the house of their fathers. Then you will lay them up in the tabernacle at the appointed place before the testimony where I will meet with you. And it will come to pass that the man's staff who I choose will blossom, and I will curtail from me the complaints of the children of Israel, whereby they grumble against you. And Moses spoke to the children of Israel, and every one of their chiefs gave him one staff for each tribal head, according to their fathers' houses, 12 staffs, and the staff of Aaron was among them. Moses laid up the staffs before YHWH in the tabernacle of testimony. The next day Moses went into the tabernacle of testimony, and the staff of Aaron for the house of Levi was budded, and brought forth buds, sprouted flowers, and yielded almonds. And Moses brought out all the staffs from before YHWH to all the children of Israel, and they inspected and took every man his staff. YHWH spoke to Moses, Bring Aaron's staff again before the testimony, to be preserved as a remembrance against the rebels, this will end their complaints so that they will not die. And Moses did as YHWH commanded him. Then the children of Israel spoke to Moses, saying, Lo, we have breathed our last, we are lost, we are all lost. Whoever comes near to the tabernacle of YHWH will die. Are we ever to have made an end of breathing our last? YHWH said to Aaron, You and your sons and your father's house with you will bear the depravity of the tabernacle, and you and your sons with you will bear the depravity of your priesthood. And bring your relatives also from the tribe of Levi, the tribe of your father, that they may join you, and serve with you while you and your sons are before the tabernacle of testimony. And they will attend to your service, and the obligations of all the tabernacle, only they will not come near the vessels of the holy place and the altar, so that neither they nor yourselves also die. And they will be joined to you and attend the obligations of the tabernacle at the appointed place, for all the service of the tabernacle, and a foreigner will not come near to you. And you will attend the service of the holy place, and the service of the altar, that there is no anger any more upon the children of Israel. And I have taken your relatives the Levites from among the children of Israel, because they are given to you as a gift unto YHWH, to do the service of the tabernacle at the appointed place. And you and your sons with you will guard your priesthood for everything of the altar, and within the veil, and you will serve, a service of gift I make your priesthood, and the foreigner who is coming near is put to death. YHWH spoke to Aaron, I also have given you the charge of my heave offerings from all the sacred things from the children of Israel. To you I have given the consecrated portion, and to your sons also, by a statute for the ages of time. This will be yours from the most holy things, reserved from the altar fire, every offering of theirs, every meat or grain offering, sin offering, and trespass offering, that they will render to me, will be most holy for you and for your sons. In the most holy place you will eat it, every male will eat it, and it will be holy to you. And this is yours, the heave offering from their offerings, with all the wave offerings from the children of Israel also. I have given them to you and your sons and your daughters with you, by a statute for the ages of time. Everyone that is clean in your house will eat of it. All the best of the oil, wine, wheat, and the first fruits of them that they will dedicate to YHWH, these things I have given to you. And the first fruits of the crops from the land they will bring to YHWH, these will be yours. Everyone that is clean in your house will eat of it. Everything devoted in Israel will be yours. Everything that first opens the womb and all flesh that they bring to YHWH, whether it is of men or animals, will be yours. Nevertheless the firstborn of man you will certainly ransom, and the firstborn of unclean animals you will ransom. And those that are to be ransomed from a month old you will ransom according to your valuation, for the money of 5 shekels, 2 ounces, after the shekel of the holy place, that is, 20 gerahs. But the firstborn of a cow, sheep, or a goat you will not ransom, they are set apart. You will sprinkle their blood upon the altar and will burn their fat for a burnt offering made by fire, for a tranquilizing aroma unto YHWH. And the meat from the wave offering, the breast and the right shoulder are yours. All the heave offerings from the sacred things that the children of Israel offer to YHWH, I have given to you and your sons and daughters with you. This will be a statute for the ages. It is a covenant of salt for the ages before YHWH unto you and to your offspring with you. YHWH spoke to Aaron, you will have no inheritance in their land, neither will you have any share among them. I am your share and your inheritance among the children of Israel. I have given the children of Levi all the tithe, 10th part, in Israel for an inheritance, for their service that they serve, even the service of the tabernacle at the appointed place. Neither must the children of Israel come near the tabernacle at the appointed place, unless they bear sin and die. But the Levites will service the tabernacle at the appointed place and they will bear their depravity. It will be a statute for the ages throughout your generations, that among the children of Israel they have no inheritance. But the tithes from the children of Israel that they raise up as a heave offering to YHWH, I have given the Levites to inherit, therefore I have said to them, among the children of Israel they will have no inheritance. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Speak to the Levites and say to them, when you acquire from the children of Israel the tithes that I have given you from them for your inheritance, then you will raise up a heave offering from it for YHWH, even a 10th part of the tithe. And your heave offering has been reckoned to you as corn from the threshing floor, and as full produce from the wine vat. So you will also raise up a heave offering to YHWH from all your tithes that you receive from the children of Israel, and you will give YHWH as heave offering to Aaron the priest. Out of all your gifts you will raise up the whole heave offering to YHWH, out of all its best, its consecrated part, out of it. And you have said to them, in your heaving up its best part out of it, then it has been reckoned to the Levites, as increase of a threshing floor, and as increase of a wine vat. You will eat it in every place, you and your households, for it's your reward for your service in the tabernacle at the appointed place. And you bear no sin for it, in your heaving up its best part out of it, and the set apart things from the children of Israel you will not desecrate so that you do not die. YHWH spoke to Moses and Aaron saying, This is a statute of the law that YHWH has commanded saying, Speak to the children of Israel that they bring you a red heifer without spot that has no physical defect, one that was never yoked. And you will give it to Eleazar the priest that he may bring it forth outside the camp and one will slaughter it in his presence. Then Eleazar the priest will take of its blood with his finger, and sprinkle of its blood directly before the tabernacle at the appointed place 7 times. And will burn the heifer in his sight, its skin, flesh, and blood with its dung he will burn. The priest will take cedar wood, hyssop, and scarlet and cast it into the middle of the burning heifer. Then the priest will wash his clothes and he will bathe his flesh in water, and afterward he will come into the camp, and the priest will be unclean until sunset. And he that burns it will wash his clothes in water, and bathe his flesh in water and will be unclean until sunset. Then a man that is clean will gather up the ashes of the heifer, and lay them up outside the camp in a clean place, and it will be kept for the nation of the children of Israel for the water of impurity. It is purification from sins from ceremonial uncleanness. And he that gathers the ashes of the heifer will wash his clothes, and be unclean until sunset, and it will be for the children of Israel and the foreigner that lives among them, as a statute for the ages. He that touches the dead body of anyone will be unclean 7 days. He will purify himself with it on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day he will be clean, but if he does not purify himself the 3rd day, then on the 7th day he will not be clean. Whoever touches the dead person of any human being that is dead, and incurs guilt becomes unclean for the tabernacle of YHWH. That person will be cut off from Israel because the water of impurity was not sprinkled on him, he will be unclean and his uncleanness remains on him. This is the law when a human being dies in a tent, all that come into the tent and all that is in the tent, will be unclean 7 days. And every open vessel that has no covering tied on it is unclean. Whoever touches one that is slain with a sword in the open fields, or one killed, a bone of a man or a grave will be unclean 7 days. For an unclean person they will take of the ashes of the burnt heifer of purification for sin, and running water will be put in a vessel. Then a clean person will take hyssop, and dip it in the water, and sprinkle it upon the tent and upon all the vessels, and upon the people that were there and upon him that touched the bone, one slain, one that perished or a grave. And the clean have sprinkled it on the unclean on the 3rd day and 7th day, and have cleansed him on the 7th day, and he has washed his garments, and has bathed with water, and will be clean at sunset. But the man that will be unclean and will not purify himself, that person will be cut off from among the nation, because he has become unclean for the holy place of YHWH, the water of impurity has not been sprinkled on him so he is unclean. This will be an age-lasting statute for them. He that sprinkles the water of impurity will wash his clothes, and he that touches the water of impurity will be unclean until sunset. And whatever the unclean person touches will be unclean, and the person that touches it will be unclean until sunset. Then the children of Israel, the whole nation, entered the desert of Zin on the 1st month, and the people remained in Kadesh, and Miriam died and was buried there. And there was no water for the nation, and they gathered themselves together against Moses and Aaron. Then the people quarreled with Moses and spoke, saying, And oh that we had died when our brethren expired before YHWH. So why have you brought up the nation of YHWH into this desert so that we with our cattle should die here? And why have you brought us up out of Egypt to bring us to these bad lands? No place of seed, fig, vine, or pomegranate, and water there is none to drink. Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the company to the entrance of the tabernacle at the appointed place, and they fell on their faces, and the glory of YHWH appeared to them. YHWH spoke to Moses, saying, Take the staff and assemble the company, you and Aaron your brother, and you will speak to the rock before their eyes, and it will give its water, and you will bring out to them water from the rock, and will water the company and their animals. Moses took the staff from before YHWH as he commanded him. Then Moses and Aaron gathered the company together before the rock, and he said to them, Hear now, you rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock? And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his staff he beat the rock twice, and water came out abundantly, and the nation drank and their animals too. And YHWH spoke to Moses and Aaron, Because you have not believed in me to consecrate me before the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore you will not bring in this nation to the land that I have given them. This is the water of Meribah, strife, because the children of Israel contended with YHWH, and by which he showed his sacred wonders. Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom, So declares your brother Israel, You know all the hardships that have befallen us, how our forefathers went down into Egypt, and we have resided in Egypt a long time, and then the Egyptians broke our fathers and us also. And when we cried to YHWH he heard our voice, and sent an angelic messenger and has brought us out of Egypt, and we are in Kadesh, a city on the edge of your border. Let us pass, I request of you, through your country. We will not pass through the fields or through the vineyards, neither will we drink from the water of your springs, we will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand or to the left until we have passed your borders. But Edom replied to him, You will not pass by me, or I will come out against you with the sword. The Israelites replied, We will go along the king's highway, and if our herds or ourselves drink any of your water, then we will pay for it. We only seek to pass through on foot and nothing else. And he replied, You will not go through. And Edom came out against him with many people and with a strong hand. So Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border, so Israel turned away from him. Then the children of Israel, the whole nation, journeyed from Kadesh and came to Mount Hor. YHWH spoke to Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor, by the coast of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron will be removed from his people, for he will not enter into the land that I have given to the children of Israel, because you rebelled against my word at the waters of Meribah. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son and bring them up into Mount Hor. And strip Aaron of his garments, and put them on Eleazar his son, and Aaron will be removed from his people, and will die there. And Moses did as YHWH commanded, and they went up into Mount Hor in the sight of the whole nation. Moses stripped Aaron of his garments, and put them on Eleazar his son, and Aaron died there in the summit of the mount, and Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain. And when all the nation saw that Aaron was dead, they mourned for Aaron 30 days, all the house of Israel. Then the Canaanite king Arad, dwelling in the south, heard that Israel had come the way of the Athrim, caravan route, and he warred against Israel, and took some of them captive. And Israel vowed a votive offering to YHWH and said, If you will indeed deliver this people into my hand, then I will devote to destruction their cities. YHWH consented to the voice of Israel and delivered up the Canaanites, and they devoted them to destruction with their cities, and he called the name of the place Hormah. And they pulled up from Mount Hor by the route of the Red Sea, to circumvent the land of Edom, and the passions of the nation were very grieved because of the distance. Then the people spoke against Elohim and Moses, Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the desert? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and we loathe this worthless bread. YHWH sent poisonous snakes among the people, and they bit the people, and many people of Israel died. Therefore the people came to Moses and said, We have sinned, for we have spoken against YHWH and against you, so pray to YHWH that he takes away these snakes from us. And Moses prayed for the people. YHWH spoke to Moses, Fashion a poisonous snake, and set it upon a pole, and it will be that everyone who is bitten when he looks at it will live. Moses fashioned a snake of brass and put it on a pole, and it came to pass that if a snake would bite anyone, when they looked on the snake of brass, then he would live. The children of Israel pulled up and encamped in Oboth. And they journeyed from Oboth, and encamped at Ijebarim, in the desert that is before Moab, towards the sun rising. From there they pulled up and encamped in the valley of Zered. From there they pulled up and encamped on the other side of Arnon, that is in the desert that comes out of the coasts of the Amorites, for Arnon is the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. That is why it is said in the book of the wars of YHWH, what he did in the Red Sea and in the valley of Arnon, and at the stream of the Wadi that goes down to the inhabitants of Ar, and lies on the border of Moab. From there they went to Beer, that is, the well where YHWH spoke to Moses, Gather the people together and I will give them water. Then Israel sang this song, Spring you up, O well. Sing you unto it. A well, princes dug it. Nobles of the people delved it. With a scepter. With their staves. And from the desert they went to Madonah, and from Madonah to Nahaliel, and from Nahaliel to Bamoth, and from Bamoth in the valley, that is in the country of Moab, to the top of Pisgah, that looks towards Jeshimon. Then Israel sent messengers to Sihon king of the Amorites saying, Let me pass through your land, we will not turn into the fields or into the vineyards, we will not drink of the waters of the well, but we will go along by the king's highway, until we are past your borders. But Sihon would not grant Israel passage through his border, but Sihon gathered all his people together, and went out against Israel into the desert, and he came to Jahaz and warred against Israel. And Israel struck him with the edge of the sword and possessed his land from Arnon to Jabbok, to as far as the children of Ammon, because the border of the children of Ammon was fortified. Israel took all these cities, and Israel resided in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon, and in all its villages. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon the king of the Amorites, who had warred against the former king of Moab, and taken all his land out of his hand, even to Arnon. That is why they speak in Proverbs saying, Come into Heshbon, let the city of Sihon be built and established. For there is a fire gone out of Heshbon, a flame from the city of Sihon, it has consumed Ar of Moab, and the lords of the high places of Arnon, Baal Bamoth. Woe to you, Moab! You are undone, O people of Chemosh, he has given his sons that escaped and his daughters, into captivity unto Sihon, king of the Amorites. We have shot at them, Heshbon is perished even to Dibon, and we have laid them waste unto Nophah, that reaches to Medeba. So Israel resided in the land of the Amorites. Moses sent to spy out Hazor, and they captured its villages, and drove out the Amorites that were there. Then they turned and went up by the way of Bashan, and Og the king of Bashan went out against them, he, and all his people, to the battle at Edrei. YHWH spoke to Moses, Fear him not, because I have delivered him into your hand, and all his people and his land, and you will do to him as you did to Sihon king of the Amorites that lived at Heshbon. So they struck him and his sons, and all his people, until there were none left alive, and they possessed his land. And the children of Israel pulled up, and encamped in the plains of Moab on the side of Jordan by Jericho. Balak the son of Zippor saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. And Moab was exceedingly afraid of the people because they were many, and Moab was distressed because of the children of Israel. Then Moab said to the elders of Midian, Now this nation will lick up all that is around us, as the ox licks up the green plants of the field. And Balak son of Zippor was king of Moab at that time. He then sent messengers to Balaam the son of Beor, who was at Pethor, near the Euphrates river in his homeland. Balak declared that a nation has come out of Egypt and are spread over the face of the land, and have encamped a short distance from me. Come here now and curse for me this people, because they are too strong for me. Perhaps I can prevail so that we may beat them, and that I will be able to drive them out of the land. For I have been informed that he who you bless is blessed, and likewise that he who you curse is cursed. Then the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian went their way, with the rewards of divination in their hand, and they came to Balaam and spoke to him the words of Balak. And he said to them, Lodge here tonight, and I will return you word back, as YHWH will speak to me. And so the nobles of Moab lodged with Balaam. Elohim came to Balaam and said, Who are these men with you? Balaam replied to Elohim, Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent for me saying, There are a people come out of Egypt that are spread over the face of the land, come now and curse them for me, perhaps I will be able to fight them and drive them away. Elohim replied to Balaam, You will not go with them and you will not curse these people because they are blessed. So Balaam got up in the morning and told the nobles of Balak, Return back to your land because YHWH refuses to permit me to leave with you. So the nobles of Moab got up, and they came to Balak and reported, Balaam refused to come with us. Then Balak sent additional nobles, of greater honor and nobility than they. They came to Balaam and said to him, This is what Balak the son of Zippor says, Let nothing hinder you from coming to me because I will promote you to very great honor, and I will do whatever you say to me. Come now, I summon you to curse these people for me. Balaam answered and replied to the servants of Balak, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the word of YHWH Elohim, to do less or more. Now stay here tonight so that I may know what YHWH will say to me additionally. Later that night Elohim came to Balaam and said to him, If the men come to call you then get up and go with them, but the word that I will say to you is what you will do. So Balaam got up in the morning and saddled his donkey, and went with the nobles of Moab. Then Elohim's nostrils flared with anger because he went, of his own and without being called by the nobles again, so the angel of YHWH stood in the roadway to withstand him. Now he was riding upon his donkey, and his 2 slaves were with him. Now the donkey saw the angel of YHWH, standing in the roadway with his sword drawn in his hand, and the donkey turned aside from off the roadway and went into the field. Balaam then beat the donkey to return it to the road. But the angel of YHWH stood in a pathway between the vineyards with hedges on both sides. So when the donkey saw the angel of YHWH, it thrust itself under the hedge, and squeezed Balaam's foot against the hedge, and he beat the donkey again. Then the angel of YHWH went further, and stood in a narrow place, where there was no way to turn either to the right or left. When the donkey saw the angel of YHWH, it fell down under Balaam, and then Balaam's nostrils flared, and he beat the donkey with a staff. And YHWH opened the mouth of the donkey, and it spoke to Balaam, What have I done to you that you have beaten me these 3 times? And Balaam replied to the donkey, Because you have rolled yourself against me, oh if there were a sword in my hand, for now I would have slain you. The donkey replied to Balaam, Am not I your donkey on which you have ridden ever since I was yours to this day? Have I at all been accustomed to act towards you like this? And he replied, No. Then YHWH opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of YHWH standing in the roadway, and his sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed down his head, bowing his face downward. And the angel of YHWH said to him, Why have you beaten your donkey these 3 times? I came out to withstand you because your way is reckless before me. The donkey saw me and turned from me these 3 times, unless it had turned from me, certainly by now I would also have killed you but saved the donkey alive. Balaam replied to the angel of YHWH, I have sinned because I did not know that you stood in the way against me. Now therefore if it displeases you, I will return back, from where I came. But the angel of YHWH replied to Balaam, Go with the men, but only the word that I will speak is what you will speak with to them. So Balaam went, with the nobles of Balak. And when Balak heard that Balaam had arrived, he went out to meet him to a city of Moab that is on the Arnon border, at the outskirts of his territory. Balak said to Balaam, Did I not send for you numerous times to summon you? Why did you not come to me? Did you think I was not able to promote you to honor? Balaam replied to Balak, I am come to you, but have I of myself any power to say anything at all? It is the word that Elohim puts in my mouth that is only what I can speak. Then Balaam went with Balak, and they came to Kirjath-Huzoth. Now Balak sacrificed oxen and sheep and sent some to Balaam, and to the nobles that were with him. The next morning Balak took Balaam, and brought him up to the high places of Bamoth-Baal, so that from there he might see the outermost part of the people. Then Balaam said to Balak, Build me here 7 altars and prepare here 7 oxen and 7 rams. Balak did as Balaam had spoken, and Balak and Balaam sacrificed on every altar a young bull and a ram. Then Balaam said to Balak, Stand by your whole burnt offering and I will depart, perhaps YHWH will come to meet me, and whatever word he shows me I will make known to you. And he went to a barren height. Then Elohim met Balaam, and he said to him, I have prepared 7 altars and I have sacrificed on every altar a young bull and a ram. And YHWH put a word in Balaam's mouth and said, Return to Balak, and this is what you will speak. So he returned to him, and he stood by his whole burnt offering, he and all the nobles of Moab. And he took up his proverb and said, Balak the king of Moab has led me from Aram, out of the mountains of the east, saying, Come, curse Jacob for me, and come, denounce Israel. How will I curse whom Elohim has not cursed? Or how will I denounce whom YHWH has not denounced? For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. The people will dwell alone and will not be accounted among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob, and the number of the quarter part of Israel? Let me die the death of the upright, and let my posterity be like his. Then Balak said to Balaam, What have you done to me? I took you to curse my enemies, and you have kept on blessing. He answered and replied, Must I not give heed to speak what Yhwh has put in my mouth? Then Balak said to him, Come with me to another place, from where you may see them. You will see only the outermost part of them and will not see them all, and curse them for me from there. He brought him into the field of Zophim, to the top of Pisgah, and built 7 altars, and sacrificed a young bull and a ram on every altar. Then he said to Balak, Stand here by your whole burnt offering while I meet Yhwh over there. Yhwh met Balaam and put a word in his mouth and said, Go again to Balak, and say this. When he came back to him he stood by his whole burnt offering, and the nobles of Moab with him. And Balak said to him, What has Yhwh spoken? Then he took up his proverb and said, Stand up, Balak, and hear. Listen to me, you son of Zippor. Elohim is not a man that he should lie, neither a son of Adam that he should repent. Has he spoken, and will he not perform it? Yes, spoken, and will he not make it stand fast? I have received commandment to bless, and he has blessed, and I cannot reverse it. He has not regarded wickedness in Jacob, neither has he inspected mischief in Israel. Yhwh his Elohim is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. Elohim brought them out of Egypt, their strength is as the wild buffalo. Certainly there is no divination against Jacob, neither is there any witchcraft against Israel. On the right occasion it will be said of Jacob and of Israel, See what Elohim has done. A people like a lioness will rise up, rampant like a lion he will not couch until he eats the prey, and drinks the blood of the fatally wounded. Balak said to Balaam, Neither curse them at all, nor bless them at all. But Balaam answered and replied to Balak, Did not I tell you, saying, All that Yhwh speaks is what I am required to do? Then Balak said to Balaam, Come, I will bring you to another place, and perhaps it will please Elohim that you may curse them for me from there. And Balak brought Balaam to the top of Peor that looks towards Jeshimon. Balaam said to Balak, Build me here 7 altars, and prepare for me 7 young bulls and 7 rams. Balak did as Balaam had said and sacrificed a young bull and a ram on every altar. Then when Balaam saw that it pleased Yhwh to bless Israel, he did not resort to divination as he had done before, but turned his face towards the uninhabited land. And Balaam lifted up his eyes, and he saw Israel settled down in their tents according to their tribes, and the spirit of Elohim came upon him. He took up his proverb and said, The oracle of Balaam, son of Beor, yes, the oracle of the man whose eyes were shut, but are now opened. The oracle of one hearing the sayings of Elohim, who sees the vision of Shaddai, who falls down but has unveiled eyes. How pleasant are your tents, O Jacob, and your tabernacle, O Israel. As valleys they have been stretched out, as gardens by a river, as aloes Yhwh has planted, as cedars by waters. He will pour the water out of his buckets, and his seed will have plentiful waters, and his king will be greater than Agag, and his kingdom will be exalted. Elohim brought him out of Egypt, he has as it were the strength of a wild buffalo. He will eat up the nations of his enemies, and will break their bones and pierce them through with his arrows. He couched and laid down as a rampant lion, and as a lioness, who will stir him up? Blessed is he that blesses you, and cursed is he that curses you. And Balak's nostrils flared against Balaam, and he hid his hands together, and Balak said to Balaam, I called you to curse my enemies, but you have blessed them these 3 times. Now leave quickly and go home. I thought to promote you to great honor, but Yhwh has kept you back from honor. Balaam replied to Balak, Did not I speak to your messengers, saying, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the commandment of Yhwh, to do either good or bad of my own mind, but what Yhwh declares that I will speak? And now, I depart to my kinsmen, but come and I will advise you what this nation will do to your people in the end time. He took up his proverb and said, The oracle of Balaam, son of Beor, yes, the oracle of the men of opened eyes, the oracle of one hearing the sayings of Elohim, and knowing the knowledge of Shaddai, who sees the vision of Shaddai, who falls down but has unveiled eyes. I see him but not now, I watch him but not close. There will tread a star out of Jacob, and a scepter, staff, will arise out of Israel, and will shatter the extremities of Moab, and will smash the children of Seth. And Edom will be a possession, and Seir also will be a possession for its enemies, and Israel will do valiantly. Ar will come out of Jacob and will destroy a remnant from Ar. Then when he looked on Amalek, he took up this proverb and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his posterity will be destroyed in future times. And he looked on the Kenites, and took up this proverb and said, Your dwelling is permanent, and you put your nest in a rock. Yet it will be for destruction, O Cain, how long will Ashur hold you captive? Then he took up this proverb and said, Alas, who will remain when Elohim does this? And ships will come from the powers of Kittim, and will afflict Ashur, and will afflict Eber, and he also will perish in future times. Then Balaam stood up, and departed to return to his region, and Balak also departed on his journey. Israel lived in Shittim, and the people desecrated themselves and committed fornication with the daughters of Moab. They called the people to the sacrifices of their Elohim, and the people did eat, and bowed down to their Elohim. Then Israel joined himself to Baal Peor, Lord of the Gap, and the nostrils of YHWH flared against Israel. YHWH spoke to Moses, Take all the chiefs of the people and impale them up before YHWH in the sun, so that the fierce anger of YHWH may be turned away from Israel. Moses told the judges of Israel, You must slay everyone as men that were joined to Baal Peor. Then a man from the children of Israel had come and brought into his family a Midianitess in the presence of the eyes of Moses. And also before the eyes of all the company of the children of Israel, who were weeping at the entrance of the tabernacle at the appointed place. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest saw it, he rose up from among the company and took a javelin in his hand and went after the man of Israel into the tent, and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the slaughter was restrained from the children of Israel. Those that died in the slaughter were 24,000. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Phinehas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, has turned back my burning anger from the children of Israel, by his being zealous with my zeal in their midst, and I have not consumed the sons of Israel in my zeal. Therefore tell him that I bestow to him my covenant of peace. And he will have it, and his descendants after him, even the covenant of an age-lasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his Elohim, and made a propitiatory covering for the children of Israel. The name of the man of Israel who was killed, who had been slain with the Midianitess, was Zimri son of Salu, prince of the house of a father of the Simeonites. And the name of the Midianitish woman that was killed was Cosbi, the daughter of Zur, he was chief over a people and of a father's house in Midian. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Besiege the Midianites and attack them, because they distress you with their cunning, in that they have deceived you in the matter of Peor, and in the affair of Cosbi, the daughter of a prince of Midian, their sister, that was slain in the day of the slaughter because of Peor. After the slaughter YHWH spoke to Moses and to Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest saying, Take a census of all the nation of the children of Israel, from 20 years old and upward, throughout their father's house, all that are able to go to war in Israel. Then Moses and Eleazar the priest spoke with them in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho saying, Conduct a census of the people from 20 years old and upward, as YHWH commanded Moses and the children of Israel that went out of the land of Egypt. Reuben, the eldest son of Israel, the children of Reuben, Hanok, of the clan of the Hanokites, of Palu, the family of the Paluites, of Hezron, the family of the Hezronites, of Carmi, the family of the Carmites. These are the families of the Reubenites, and they that were numbered of them were 43,730. The sons of Palu, Eliab. And the sons of Eliab, Nemuel, and Dathan, and Abiram. This is that Dathan and Abiram, that were famous in the nation, who contended against Moses and against Aaron in the company of Korah, when they contended against YHWH. And the earth opened her mouth, and swallowed them up together with Korah, when that company died in the supernatural fire that devoured the 250 men, and they became an omen, and the sons of Korah died not. The sons of Simeon after their families, of Nemuel, the family of the Nemuelites, of Jaman, the family of the Jamanites, of Jachin, the family of the Jachanites, of Zerah, the family of the Zarites, of Shaul, the family of the Shaulites. These are the families of the Simeonites, 22,200. The children of Gad after their families, of Zephon, the family of the Zephonites, of Haggi, the family of the Haggites, of Shunai, the family of the Shunites, of Ozni, the family of the Oznites, of Eri, the family of the Erites, of Arad, the family of the Aradites, of Areli, the family of the Arelites. These are the families of the children of Gad according to those that were numbered of them, 40,500. The sons of Judah were and Onan, but and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Judah after their families were, of Shelah, the family of the Shelonites, of Pharez, the family of the Pharezites, of Zerah, the family of the Zarites. And the sons of Pharez were, of Hezron, the family of the Hezronites, of Hamul, the family of the Hamulites. These are the families of Judah according to those that were numbered of them, 76,500. The sons of Issachar after their families, of Tola, the family of the Tolites, of Puah, the family of the Punites, of Jashub, the family of the Joshubites, of Shimron, the family of the Shimronites. These are the families of Issachar according to those that were numbered of them, 64,300. The sons of Zebulun after their families, of Serach, the family of the Sardites, of Elon, the family of the Elonites, of Jaleel, the family of the Jaleelites. These are the families of the Zebulunites according to those that were numbered of them, 60,500. The sons of Joseph after their families were Manasseh and Ephraim. Of the sons of Manasseh, of Machir, the family of the Machirites, and Machir gendered Gilead, of Gilead came the family of the Gileadites. These are the sons of Gilead, of Jezer, the family of the Jezerites, of Helek, the family of the Helekites, and of Azriel, the family of the Asrielites, and of Shechem, the family of the Shechemites, and of Shemida, the family of the Shemadites, and of Heper, the family of the Hepherites. And Zelophehad the son of Heper had no sons, but daughters, and the names of the daughters of Zelophehad were Mahlah, and Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. These are the families of Manasseh, and those that were numbered of them, 52,700. These are the sons of Ephraim after their families, of Shuthelah, the family of the Shuthalites, of Becher, the family of the Bachrites, of Tahan, the family of the Tahanites. And these are the sons of Shuthelah, of Aran, the family of the Aaronites. These are the families of the sons of Ephraim according to those that were numbered of them, 32,500. These are the sons of Joseph after their families. The sons of Benjamin after their families, of Bela, the family of the Belites, of Ashbel, the family of the Ashbelites, of Ahiram, the family of the Ahiramites, of Shuppim, the family of the Shuphamites, of Hupham, the family of the Huphamites. And the sons of Bela were, Ard and Naaman, of Ard, the family of the Ardites, and of Naaman, the family of the Naamites. These are the sons of Benjamin after their families, and they that were numbered of them 45,600. These are the sons of Dan after their families, of Shuham, the family of the Shuhamites. These are the families of Dan after their families. All the families of the Shuhamites, according to those that were numbered of them, were 64,400. The children of Asher after their families, of Jimnah, the family of the Jimnites, of Jezi, the family of the Jezreelite, of Beriah, the family of the Beriates. Of the sons of Beriah, of Heber, the family of the Heberites, of Malchiel, the family of the Malchielites. And the name of the daughter of Asher was Sarah. These are the families of the sons of Asher according to those that were numbered of them, who were 53,400. The sons of Naphtali after their families, of Jaziel, the family of the Jazilites, of Guni, the family of the Gunites, of Jezer, the family of the Jezerites, of Shillem, the family of the Shillemites. These are the families of Naphtali according to their families, and they that were numbered of them were 45,400. These were the numbered of the children of Israel, 601,730. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, To these is the land apportioned by inheritance, by the number of names. To the many you will increase their inheritance, and to the few you will diminish their inheritance, to each according to the census they will be given their inheritance. Make sure the land is divided by casting lots according to the names of the tribes of their fathers they will inherit. According to the lot the possession will be divided between many and few. These are they that were numbered of the Levites after their families, of Gershon, the family of the Gershonites, of Kohath, the family of the Kohathites, of Merari, the family of the Merarites. These are the families of the Levites, the family of the Libnites, the family of the Hebronites, the family of the Malites, the family of the Mushites, the family of the Korathites. And Kohath gendered Amram. And the name of Amram's woman was Jochebed, the daughter of Levi, whom her mother gendered to Levi in Egypt, and she gendered to Amram Aaron and Moses, and Miriam their sister. And to Aaron was born Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Itamar. But Nadab and Abihu died, when they presented strange fire before YHWH. And those that were numbered of them were 23,000, all males from a month old and higher, for they were not numbered among the children of Israel because there was no inheritance given them among the children of Israel. These are they that were numbered by Moses and Eleazar the priest, who numbered the children of Israel in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho. But among these there was not a man of them whom Moses and Aaron the priest numbered, when they numbered the children of Israel in the desert of Sinai. For YHWH had said of them, They will certainly die in the desert. And there was not left a man of them, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh, and Joshua the son of Nun. Then came the daughters of Zelophehad, the son of Heper, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh the son of Joseph, and these are the names of his daughters, Mahlah, Noah, and Hoglah, and Milcah, and Tirzah. And they stood before Moses, and before Eleazar the priest, and before the chiefs and all the nation, by the entrance of the tabernacle at the appointed place, saying, Our father died in the desert, and he was not in the company of them that gathered themselves together against YHWH in the company of Korah, but for his own sin he died, and had no sons. Why should the name of our dad be done away from among his family, because he had no son? Give to us therefore a possession among the family of our father. And Moses brought their cause before YHWH. YHWH spoke to Moses, saying, The daughters of Zelophehad speak right, you will certainly give them a possession of an inheritance among their father's family, and you will cause the inheritance of their dad to pass to them. And you will speak to the children of Israel, saying, If a man dies and has no son, then you will cause his inheritance to pass to his daughter. But if he has no daughter, then you will give his inheritance to his brother. And if he has no brother, then you will give his inheritance to his dad's brother. But if his dad has no brother, then you will give his inheritance to his kinsman that is next to him in his family, and he will possess it. This will be to the children of Israel as a statute of judgment, as YHWH commanded Moses. YHWH spoke to Moses, Get you up into this Mount Abarim, and see the land that I have given to the children of Israel. And when you have seen it, you also will be removed from your people, as Aaron your brother was removed. Because you rebelled against my commandment in the desert of Zin, in the strife of the nation, to consecrate me at the water before their eyes, that is the water of Meribah in Kadesh in the desert of Zin. Moses spoke to YHWH, saying, Let YHWH, the Elohim of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the nation that may go out and come in before them, and that may lead them out, and bring them in, that the nation of YHWH is not a sheep that has no shepherd. YHWH spoke to Moses, Take Joshua the son of Nun, a man in whom is the Spirit, and lay your hand upon him. Set him before Eleazar the priest and before the entire nation, and give him a commission in their sight. And you will put some of your majesty upon him, that all the nation of the children of Israel may be obedient. Then he will stand before Eleazar the priest, who will ask counsel for him after the judgment of Urim-Thummim, before YHWH. At his word will they go out, and at his word they will come in, he and all the children of Israel with him, even the entire nation. Moses did as YHWH commanded him, and he took Joshua, and set him before Eleazar the priest and before the entire nation. And he laid his hands upon him, and gave him a commission as YHWH commanded by the hand of Moses. YHWH spoke to Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel, and say to them, My offering and my bread for my burnt offering, a tranquilizing aroma to me, you will take heed to present to me at the appointed place. You will say to them, This is the burnt offering that you will present to YHWH, 2 lambs, 1 year old without blemish daily for a continual burnt offering. The 1 lamb will you offer at sunrise, and the other lamb you will offer at sunset. And 1/10 part, 2 quarts, of an ephah of flour for a grain offering, mixed with a 1/4 part, 1 quart, of a hin of beaten oil. It is a continual whole burnt offering that was instituted at Mount Sinai for a tranquilizing aroma, a sacrifice made by fire unto YHWH. And the drink offering will be 1/4 part of a hin, 1 quart, for the 1 lamb. In the holy place will you pour out a drink offering of strong drink unto YHWH. The other lamb you will offer at sunset as the meat offering, and drink offering you presented at sunrise, you will offer it as a burnt offering, a tranquilizing aroma unto YHWH. And on the Sabbath day 2 lambs of the first year without blemish, and 2/10 part, 4 quarts, of fine flour for a grain offering mixed with oil, and its drink offering. This is the whole burnt offering for every Sabbath, besides the continual burnt offering, and its drink offering. On the first day of your months you will present a whole burnt offering to YHWH, 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 lambs of the first year without blemish. And 3/10 parts, 6 quarts, of fine flour for a grain offering, mixed with oil for 1 bull, and 2/10 parts, 4 quarts, of fine flour for a grain offering mixed with oil for 1 ram. And 1/10 part, 2 quarts, of fine flour mixed with oil for a grain offering for every lamb, for a whole burnt offering of a tranquilizing aroma, a fire offering unto YHWH. Their drink offerings will be half a hin, 2 quarts, of wine to a bull, and 1/3 part of a hin, 1/4 quarts, to a ram, and 1/4 part of a hin, 1 quart, to a lamb. This is the whole burnt offering for every month throughout the months of the year. And 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering to YHWH will be offered, besides the continual whole burnt offering and its drink offering. The 14th day of the first month is the Passover of YHWH. The 15th day of this month is the festival gathering. 7 days will unleavened bread be eaten. The first day will be a sacred assembly. You will do no labor or business on that day. But you will present a fire offering for a whole burnt offering to YHWH, 2 young bulls and 1 ram, and 7 lambs of the first year. They will be to you without blemish. Their grain offering will be a flour mixed with oil, 3/10 parts, 6 quarts, you will offer for a bull, and 2/10 parts, 4 quarts, for a ram. And 1/10 part, 2 quarts, you will offer for every lamb of the 7 lambs. Also 1 goat for a sin offering, to make a propitiatory covering for you. You will offer these besides the whole burnt offering at sunrise. This is for a continual whole burnt offering. In this way prepare daily, for 7 days, bread of a fire offering, a tranquilizing aroma to YHWH, besides the continual burnt offering and its drink offering. And on the 7th day you will have a sacred assembly, you will do no labor or business. Also in the day of the first fruits, when you bring a new grain offering to YHWH during the festival gathering, you will have a sacred assembly, you will do no labor or business. But you will present the whole burnt offering for a tranquilizing aroma to YHWH, 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 lambs of the first year, and their grain offering of flour mixed with oil, 3/10 parts, 6 quarts, for 1 bull, and 2/10 parts, 4 quarts, for 1 ram, and 1/10 parts, 2 quarts, for every lamb of the 7 lambs. And 1 male goat from the female goats, to make a propitiatory covering for you. You will offer them besides the continual whole burnt offering, and its grain offering, they will be for you without blemish, and their drink offerings. On the first day of the 7th month you will have a sacred assembly, you will do no labor or business, it is a day of blowing the trumpets to you. You will offer a whole burnt offering for a tranquilizing aroma to YHWH, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 lambs of the first year without blemish. And their grain offering will be a fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 parts, 6 quarts, for a bull, and 2/10 parts, 4 quarts, for a ram, and 1/10 parts, 2 quarts, for every lamb of the 7 lambs. And 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering, to make a propitiatory covering for you. Besides the whole burnt offering for the month and its grain offering, and the continual whole burnt offering, and its grain offering with their drink offerings, according to the ordinance for a tranquilizing aroma, a fire offering unto YHWH. You will have on the 10th day of this 7th month a sacred assembly, and you will afflict yourselves, with fasting, you will not do any work or business. But you will present a whole burnt offering to YHWH for a tranquilizing aroma, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 lambs of the first year, and they will be without blemish. And their grain offering will be a fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 parts, 6 quarts, for a bull, and 2/10 parts, 4 quarts, to 1 ram, and 1/10 parts, 2 quarts, for every lamb of the 7 lambs. 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering besides the sin offering of propitiatory covering, and the whole continual burnt offering, and its grain offering, with their drink offerings. On the 15th day of the 7th month you will have a sacred assembly, you will do no labor or business, and you will celebrate a festival gathering to YHWH for 7 days, and you will present a whole burnt offering, a fire offering of a tranquilizing aroma to YHWH, 13 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 lambs of the first year that will be without blemish. And their grain offering will be a fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 parts, 6 quarts, for every bull of the 13 bulls, 2/10 parts, 4 quarts, for each ram of the 2 rams, and 1/10 parts, 2 quarts, for every lamb of the 7 lambs. And 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering besides the continual whole burnt offering, its grain offering and drink offering. And on the 2nd day you will offer 12 young bulls, 2 rams, 14 lambs of the first year without blemish with their grain offering and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and for the lambs, in their number and according to the ordinance. And 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering besides the continual whole burnt offering, and grain offering with the drink offerings. On the 3rd day 11 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 lambs of the first year without blemish in their grain offering and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and for the lambs, shall be, in their number and according to the ordinance. And 1 male goat for a sin offering besides the continual whole burnt offering, and its grain offering and drink offering. On the 4th day 10 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 lambs of the first year without blemish in their grain offering and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and for the lambs, in their number and according to the ordinance. And 1 male goat from the female goats for a sin offering besides the continual whole burnt offering, its grain offering, and drink offering. On the 5th day 9 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 lambs of the first year without blemish in their grain offering and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and for the lambs, in their number and according to the ordinance. And 1 male goat for a sin offering besides the continual whole burnt offering, and its grain offering, and drink offering. On the 6th day 8 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 lambs of the first year without blemish in their grain offering and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and for the lambs, in their number and according to the ordinance. And what male goat for a sin offering besides the continual whole burnt offering, its grain offering and drink offering? On the seventh day, 7 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 lambs of the first year without blemish in their grain offering and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and for the lambs in their number and according to the ordinance. And what male goat for a sin offering besides the continual whole burnt offering, its grain offering and drink offering? On the 8th day you will have a solemn assembly, you will do no labor or business. But you will present a whole burnt offering, a fire offering of a tranquilizing aroma to YHWH, 1 bullock, 1 ram, and 7 lambs of the first year without blemish, their grain offering and drink offerings for the bull ram and for the lambs, in their number and according to the ordinance. And what male goat for a sin offering besides the continual whole burnt offering, and its grain offering and drink offering? These things you will observe unto YHWH in your appointed seasons besides your vows, free will offerings, whole burnt offerings, grain offerings, drink offerings, and for your peace offerings. And Moses told the children of Israel everything that YHWH commanded him. Moses spoke to the chiefs of the tribes concerning the children of Israel saying, This is the matter that YHWH has commanded. If a man vows a vow to YHWH, or adjures an oath to bind his life with a binding obligation, he will not defile his word but will accomplish everything according to all that proceeds out of his mouth. If a woman also vows a vow to YHWH, and binds herself by a binding obligation, in the house of her dad in her youth, and when her dad hears her vow, and the binding obligation where she had obligated herself, if her dad will hold his peace with her then all her vows will stand and every binding obligation that she has bound herself with will stand. But if her dad forbids her in the day he hears her vows then not any of her vows, or her binding obligations will stand that she has bound herself with, and YHWH will pardon her because her dad disallowed her. But if she is married to a husband when her vows were made or if a rash utterance fell from her lips, or she placed a binding obligation on herself and if her husband hears it but holds his peace with her in the day it was spoken, then her vows will stand and her binding obligations that she placed on herself will stand. But if her husband forbids her on the day he heard it then he will make the vow, or what she uttered with her lips, where she obligated herself, to be null and void, and YHWH will forgive her. But every vow of a widow and of her that is divorced where they have obligated themselves will remain binding on them. But if she vowed in her husband's house, or bound herself by a binding obligation with an oath and her husband heard it but held his peace with her, and did not make it null and void, then all her vows will stand and every obligation that she committed to will remain in force. But if her husband has utterly made them null and void on the day he heard it, then whatever proceeded out of her lips regarding her vows, or concerning those binding obligations she made, will not stand. Her husband has made them void and YHWH will pardon her. Every vow and every binding oath to abstain from food or anything, her husband may allow it or invalidate it. But if her husband holds his peace with her daily, then he establishes all her vows, or all her binding obligations that are upon her. He confirms them because he held his peace with her in the day he heard it spoken. But if he nullifies them later after he has already heard them, then he will bear her guilt. These are the statutes that YHWH commanded Moses between a man and his woman, or between a father and his youthful daughter, living in her father's house. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Execute the vengeance of the children of Israel against the Midianites and afterwards you will be gathered to your people. Moses spoke to the people saying, Arm some of you for the war, and let them go against the Midianites, to put the vengeance of YHWH on Midian. You will send 1,000 men out of each tribe, from among all the tribes of Israel, for the war. So there were conscripted out of the thousands in Israel, 1,000 from every tribe, 12,000 armed for war. And Moses dismissed them to the war, 1,000 of them from every tribe with Phinehas the son of Eleazar the priest, with the holy object, Urim-Thummim and the trumpets to blow in his hand. Then they waged war against the Midianites, as YHWH commanded Moses and they killed all the males. And they killed the kings of Midian, besides the rest of them that were slain, namely, Evi, Rechem, Zur, Hur and Reba, 5 kings of Midian, Balaam, the son of Beor, they also killed with the sword. The children of Israel took captive the women of Midian and their infants, and all their cattle, their substance and all their wealth they have plundered. They torched all their cities where they lived, and all their walled dwelling places with fire. They seized all the spoil and all the booty, both of men and of animals. And they brought the captives, the booty, and the spoil to Moses and to Eleazar the priest, and unto the nation of the children of Israel to the camp at the plains of Moab, that are by Jordan near Jericho. Then Moses and Eleazar the priest, and all the commanders of the nation went out to meet them outside the camp. And Moses was angry with the officers of the army, with the commanders over thousands, and commanders over hundreds that came in from the battle. And Moses questioned them, "Have you saved all the women alive?" These caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam, to commit unfaithful acts against YHWH in the matter of Peor, and there was a slaughter among the nation of YHWH. Now therefore kill every male among the children, and kill every woman that has carnally known man by sleeping with him. But all the girls that have not carnally known a man by sleeping with him keep alive for yourselves. And encamp yourselves outside the camp for 7 days, whoever has killed a person and whoever has touched the slain, cleanse yourselves from sin on the 3rd day and the 7th day, both you and your captives. And purify from uncleanness all your garments, and all articles made from animal hides, and all work of goat's hair, and all things made from wood. Eleazar the priest said to the man of war that went to the battle, "This is the statute of the law that YHWH commanded Moses, only the gold, silver, brass, iron, tin, and the lead, everything that may go into fire you will cause to pass over through fire, and it will be clean, but only with the water of impurity it is cleansed. And all that may not go into fire you will cause to pass over through water. You will wash your clothes on the 7th day and you will be clean, and afterward you will come into the camp." YHWH spoke to Moses saying, "Take the total of the booty that was taken, both of man and of animal, you and Eleazar the priest, and the chief fathers of the nation, and you will divide the booty between those who took part in battle in the entire nation. From the men who fought in the war, set apart as tribute for YHWH 1 out of every 500, whether of people, cattle, donkeys, sheep or goats. Take it from their half and give it to Eleazar the priest, for a heave offering to YHWH. And from the children of Israel's half you will take 1 possession out of 50, of man, herd, donkeys, flock, and all the cattle, and you will give them to the Levites keeping the guard of the tabernacle of YHWH." Moses and Eleazar the priest did as YHWH commanded Moses. And the booty, being the rest of the spoil that the men of war had caught, was 675,000 sheep, and 72,000 cattle, and 61,000 donkeys and 32,000 persons in all, of women that had not carnally known man by having sexual relations with them. The half that was the portion of them that went out to war totaled 337,500 sheep, and YHWH's tribute from the sheep is 675, and 36,000 cattle, the tribute being for YHWH is 72, and 30,500 donkeys, the tribute being for YHWH is 61, and 16,000 people, the tribute being for YHWH is 32. Moses gave the tribute that was YHWH's heave offering to Eleazar the priest, as YHWH commanded Moses. And of the children of Israel's half, that Moses divided from the men that warred, the half that pertained to the nation was 337,500 sheep, and 36,000 cattle, and 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 people. Even of the children from Israel's half, Moses took 1 portion out of 50, both of man and animal, and gave them to the Levites that kept the guard of the tabernacle of YHWH, as YHWH commanded Moses. And the officers that were over thousands of the army, the commanders of thousands, and commanders of hundreds, came near to Moses. And they said to Moses, "Your servants have reckoned up the total number of the men of war that were under our command, and there is not missing from us even 1 man. We therefore present an offering to YHWH, what every man has acquired, of objects of gold, armlet, bracelets, rings, earrings, and ornaments, to make a propitiatory covering for our lives before YHWH." Moses and Eleazar the priest took the gold from them, even all handcrafted articles. And all the gold of the heave offering that they have lifted up to YHWH was 16,750 shekels, from commanders of the thousands, and from commanders of the hundreds, and the men of war had taken spoil every man for himself. Moses and Eleazar the priest took the gold from the commanders of thousands and hundreds, and brought it to the tabernacle at the appointed place, for a memorial for the children of Israel before YHWH. Now the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had a very great multitude of livestock, and when they saw the land of Yazer and the land of Gilead, that it was an ideal place for cattle, then the children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spoke to Moses and to Eleazar the priest, and to the chiefs of the nation. They said that Ataroth, Dibon, Yazer, Nimrah, Heshbon, Elealeh, Shebam, Nebo, and Beon, even the land that YHWH scourged before the nation of Israel, is a land for livestock, and your slaves own cattle. And they said, "If we have found grace in your eyes, let this land be given to your servants for a possession rather than letting us pass over the Jordan." And Moses said to the children of Gad and the children of Reuben, "Will your kinsmen go to war, and will you sit here? And why discourage you the heart of the children of Israel from going over into the land that YHWH has given them? Your fathers did this when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to inspect the land. For when they went up to the valley of Eshcol and saw the land, They discouraged the heart of the children of Israel, that they should not go into the land that YHWH had given them. Then YHWH's nostrils flared at that time, and he adjured, saying, Certainly none of the men that came up out of Egypt, from 20 years old and higher, will see the land that I adjured unto Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because they have not completely followed me, except Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite, and Joshua the son of Nun, because they have completely followed YHWH. And YHWH's anger burned against Israel, and he made them wander in the desert 40 years, until all that generation, that had done evil in the sight of YHWH, was consumed. And you have risen in the place of your fathers, an increase of sinful men to add still more to the fury of the anger of YHWH towards Israel. Because if you turn away from after him, he will still again leave them in the desert, and you will destroy all these people. And they came near to him and said, We will build sheepfolds here for our herds, and cities for our children, but we ourselves will go armed and ready before the children of Israel, until we have brought them to their place, and our children will live in the fortified cities because of the inhabitants of the land. We will not return to our houses until the children of Israel have acquired every man his possession. Because we will not inherit with them on the other side of Jordan, and forward, because our inheritance has fallen to us on this side of the Jordan eastward. Then Moses replied to them, If you will do this thing by going armed before YHWH to war, and will go armed over Jordan before YHWH, all of you, until he has driven out his enemies from before him. When the land is subdued before YHWH, then later you can return, and will be guiltless before YHWH and before Israel. Then this land will be your possession before YHWH. But if you will not do so, you have sinned against YHWH, and be certain your sin will find you out. Build yourselves cities for your children, and pens for your sheep, and do what has proceeded out of your mouth. The children of Gad and the children of Reuben spoke to Moses, saying, Your slaves will do as YHWH commands. Our children, our women, our livestock, and all our cattle will remain in the cities of Gilead, but your slaves will pass over, every man armed for war, before YHWH to battle as YHWH has declared. Then Moses gave charge to Eleazar the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun, and the chief fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel. And Moses said to them, If the children of Gad and the children of Reuben will pass with you over Jordan, every man armed for battle before YHWH, and the land will be subdued before you, then you will give them the land of Gilead for a possession. But if they will not pass over with you armed, they will have possessions among you in the land of Canaan. The children of Gad and the children of Reuben answered, saying, As YHWH has said to your servants, so will we do. We will pass over armed before YHWH into the land of Canaan, that the possession of our inheritance on this side of Jordan may be ours. Moses gave to the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, and to half the tribe of Manasseh the son of Joseph, the kingdom of Sihon king of the Amorites, and the kingdom of Og king of Bashan. He gave the whole land along with the cities and territories, all the cities of the surrounding land. Then the children of Gad built Dibon, Ataroth, Aroer, Atroth, Shaphan, Hazer, Jogbehah, Beth-Nimrah, and Beth-Horon, fenced cities, and pens for sheep. Then the children of Reuben built Heshbon, Elealeh, Kirjathaim, Nebo, Bamian, their names being changed, and Shema, and gave other names to the cities that they constructed. Then the children of Machir the son of Manasseh went to Gilead and seized it, and dispossessed the Amorite that lived there. Moses gave Gilead to Machir the son of Manasseh, and he resided there. And Ner the son of Manasseh went and seized the small towns, and called them Havithair. And Nobah went and seized Kenath, and its villages, and called it Nobah, after his own name. These are the journeys, the pulling up of stakes, of the children of Israel that went out of the land of Egypt with their armies under the hand of Moses and Aaron. Moses recorded their departures according to their pulling up of stakes by the commandment of YHWH, and these are their journeys according to their departures. They departed from Ramesses in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month, on the day after the Passover. The children of Israel went out with a high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians. Because the Egyptians buried all their firstborn that YHWH had killed among them, upon their Elohim also YHWH executed judgments. Then the children of Israel pulled up stakes from Ramesses, and pitched in Succoth. Later they departed from Succoth, and encamped at Etham that is at the edge of the wilderness. And they pulled up stakes from Etham, and turned again to Pihahiroth, that is before Baal-zephon, and they encamped before Migdol. Then they departed from before Pihahiroth, and passed through the middle of the Red Sea into the desert, and went 3 days' journey in the desert of Etham, and pitched at Marah. Then they pulled up stakes from Marah and came to Elim, and in Elim were 12 fountains of water, and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there. They pulled up stakes from Elim, and encamped by the Red Sea. They pulled up stakes from the Red Sea, and encamped in the desert of Sin. They took their journey out of the desert of Sin, and encamped at Dovka. They pulled up stakes from Dovka and encamped at Alush. They pulled up stakes from Alush and encamped at Rephidim, where there was no water for the people to drink. They pulled up stakes from Rephidim, and pitched in the desert of Sinai. They pulled up stakes from the desert of Sinai and pitched at Kibroth Hattaavah. They pulled up stakes from Kibroth Hattaavah and encamped at Hazeroth. They pulled up stakes from Hazeroth and pitched at Rithmah. They pulled up stakes from Rithmah and pitched at Rimmon Perez. They pulled up stakes from Rimmon Perez and pitched in Libnah. They pulled up stakes from Libnah and pitched at Rissa. They pulled up stakes from Rissa and pitched at Kehelatha. They pulled up stakes from Kehelatha and pitched at Mount Shafar. They pulled up stakes from Mount Shafar and encamped at Harada. They pulled up stakes from Harada and pitched at Makaloth. They pulled up stakes from Makaloth and encamped at Tahat. They pulled up stakes from Tahat and pitched at Tara. They pulled up stakes from Tara and pitched at Mithkah. They pulled up stakes from Mithkah and pitched at Hashmanah. They pulled up stakes from Hashmanah and encamped at Moseroth. They pulled up stakes from Moseroth and pitched at Benejaakan. They pulled up stakes from Benejaakan and encamped at Hoijajit. They pulled up stakes from Hoijajit and pitched at Jotbathah. They pulled up stakes from Jotbathah and encamped at Abrona. They pulled up stakes from Abrona and encamped at Ezion-Geber. They pulled up stakes from Ezion-Geber and pitched in the desert of Zin, that is Kadesh. They pulled up stakes from Kadesh and pitched at Mount Hor, at the border of the land of Edom. Then Aaron the priest went up into Mount Hor at the commandment of Yhwh and died there, in the 40th year after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt, on the first day of the 5th month. Aaron was 123 years old when he died in Mount Hor. And King Arad the Canaanite that lived in the south in the land of Canaan, heard of the coming of the children of Israel. They pulled up stakes from Mount Hor and pitched in Zalmonah. They pulled up stakes from Zalmonah and pitched in Punon. They pulled up stakes from Punon and pitched in Oboth. They pulled up stakes from Oboth and pitched in Ijebarim, at the border of Moab. They pulled up stakes from and pitched in Dibongat. They pulled up stakes from Dibongat and encamped at Ammon Diblathaim. They pulled up stakes from Ammon Diblathaim, and pitched in the mountains of Abarim, before Nebo. They pulled up stakes from the mountains of Abarim and pitched in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho. And they encamped by Jordan, from Beth Yesemoth even to Abel Shittim in the plains of Moab. Yhwh spoke to Moses in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, When you are passed over Jordan into the land of Canaan, then you will drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you, and destroy all their images, and destroy all their molten metal images, and annihilate all their high places, cultic platforms. And you will dispossess the inhabitants of the land, and reside there because I have given you the land to possess it. You will divide the land by lot for an inheritance among your families, and to the greater number you will give more inheritance, and to the fewer you will give less inheritance. Every man's inheritance will be in the place where his lot falls according to the tribes of your fathers you will inherit. But if you will not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it will come to pass that of those that you let remain will be thorns in your eyes and pricks in your sides. These ones will cause distress for you in the land where you reside. And I will do to you, as I thought to do to them. Yhwh spoke to Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel and say to them, When you come into the land of Canaan, this being the land that will fall to you for an inheritance, even the land of Canaan with its coasts. Then your south quarter will be from the desert of Zin along by the coast of Edom, and on the east your southern border will begin from the end of the Dead Sea. Your border will turn from the south to the Akrabim Pass, and proceed on to Zin, and will end southward at Kadesh-barnea, and will go on to Hazeradar, and pass on to Asmon. Then the boundary will turn round from Asmon towards the ravine of Egypt, and the extension of it will be towards the sea. As for the western border, you will have the Great Sea for a border, this will be your west border. This will be your north border, from the Great Sea you mark out for yourselves Mount Hor. From Mount Hor you will mark out your border to the entrance of Hamath, and its boundary will proceed to Zedad. And the border has gone out to Ziphron, and its end has been at Hazar Enon, this is to you the north border. You will mark out your east border from Hazarenan to Shephem. And the coast will go down from Shephem to Riblah, on the east side of Ain, and the border will descend and will reach to the side of the Sea of Galilee, Kinnereth, eastward. The border will go down to Jordan, and the goings out of it will be at the Dead Sea, this will be your land with its borders on all sides. Moses commanded the children of Israel, saying, This is the land that you will inherit by lot that Yhwh commanded to give to the 9 tribes, and to the half-tribe. For the tribe of the children of Reuben according to the house of their fathers, and the tribe of the children of Gad according to the house of their fathers, have received their inheritance, and half the tribe of Manasseh has received their inheritance. The 2 tribes and the half-tribe has received their inheritance on this side Jordan near Jericho eastward, towards the sun rising. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, These are the names of the men that will divide the land to you, Eleazar the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun. You will take one chief from every tribe to divide the land by inheritance. The names of the men are these: of the tribe of Judah, Caleb the son of Jephunneh. The tribe of the children of Simeon, Shemuel the son of Ammihud. The tribe of Benjamin, Elidad the son of Chislon. The chief from the tribe of the children of Dan, Bukai the son of Yogli. The chief of the children of Joseph, for the tribe of the children of Manasseh, Haniel the son of Ephod. The chief of the tribe of the children of Ephraim, Kemuel the son of Shiftan. The chief of the tribe of the children of Zebulun, Elizaphan the son of Parnak. The chief of the tribe of the children of Issachar, Paltiel the son of Azan. The chief of the tribe of the children of Asher, Ahihud the son of Shelemi. The chief of the tribe of the children of Naphtali, Pedahel the son of Ammihud. These are they who YHWH commanded to allot the inheritance to the children of Israel in the land of Canaan. YHWH spoke to Moses in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho saying, Command the children of Israel that they give to the Levites from the inheritance of their possession cities to live in, and you will also give to the Levites suburbs surrounding those cities. And they will have the cities to live in, and their suburbs will be for their cattle, and for their possessions and for all their crops. The suburbs of the cities that you will give to the Levites will extend from the wall of the city outward a distance of 1,500 feet. And you will measure from outside the city on the east side 3,000 feet, and on the south side 3,000 feet, and on the west side 3,000 feet, and on the north side 3,000 feet, and the city will be in the center. This will be to them the suburbs of the cities. And among the cities that you will give to the Levites there will be 6 cities for refuge, that you will appoint for the killer, that he may flee there, and for them you will add 42 cities. So all the cities that you will give to the Levites will be 48 cities. You will distribute these with their suburbs. And the cities that you will give will be from the possessions of the children of Israel. From those that have many you will give many, but from those that have few you will give little. Everyone will give of his cities to the Levites according to his inheritance that he acquires. YHWH spoke to Moses saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, When you are come over Jordan into the land of Canaan, then you will appoint cities, to be cities of refuge for yourselves, that the killer may flee there who kills any person unintentionally. And they will be to you cities for refuge from the avenger, so the killer does not die, until he stands before the nation in judgment. And of these cities that you will give, 6 cities will you have for refuge. You will give 3 cities on this side Jordan, and 3 cities you will appoint in the land of Canaan, that will be cities of refuge. These 6 cities will be a refuge, both for the children of Israel and for the foreigner, as well as the traveler among them, so that everyone that kills any person unintentionally may escape there. But if he strikes him with an instrument of iron so that he dies, he is a murderer, and the murderer will certainly be put to death. If he strikes him with throwing a stone so that he perishes and dies, he is a murderer, and the murderer will certainly be put to death. Or if he strikes him with a hand weapon of wood so that he perishes and dies, he is a murderer, and the murderer will certainly be put to death. The kinsman avenger of blood himself will kill the murderer when he encounters him, and he will kill him. But if in hatred he thrusts him through, or has thrown anything at him by lying in wait, and he expires, or in hatred strikes him with his hand so that he dies, he that hit him will certainly be put to death, because he is a murderer. The kinsman avenger of blood will kill the murderer when he encounters him. But if he thrusts him suddenly without hatred, or has thrown at him anything without laying of wait, or with any stone so that a man may die but did not see him, and if throwing it at him caused him to expire but he was not his enemy, neither sought his harm, then the nation will judge between the killer and the kinsman avenger of blood according to these judgments. The nation will deliver the killer out of the hand of the kinsman avenger of blood, and the nation will lead him away to the city of refuge where he was escaped. He will reside inside the city until the death of the high priest that was anointed with the holy oil. But if the killer will at any time come outside the city limits of his refuge where he was escaped, then if the kinsman avenger of blood finds him outside the city limits of his refuge, and the avenger of blood kills the slayer, then he will not be guilty of blood. This is because he should have remained inside the city limits of his refuge until the death of the high priest, but after the death of the high priest the killer will return into the land of his possession. So these things will be for a statute of judgment for you throughout your generations in all your residences. Whoever kills any person, the murderer will be put to death by the mouth of witnesses, but one witness will not testify against any person to cause him to be executed. Also you will take no ransom for the life of a murderer that is guilty of death, but he will certainly be put to death. You will take no ransom for him that is escaped to the city of refuge, so that he can return to live in the land before the death of the high priest. This is so you will not defile the land with blood, as this corrupts the land, and the land cannot be cleansed from the blood that is shed on it, except by the blood of him that spilled blood. Do not make the land unclean where you will inhabit, where I live, because I, YHWH, live among the children of Israel. And the chief fathers of the families of the children of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of the sons of Joseph, approached and spoke before Moses, and before the leaders, the chief fathers of the children of Israel. And they said, YHWH commanded my master to give the land for an inheritance by lot to the children of Israel, and my master was commanded by YHWH to give the inheritance of Zelophehad our brother to his daughters. And if they are married to any of the sons of the other tribes of the children of Israel, then will their inheritance be taken from the inheritance of our fathers, and will be put to the inheritance of the tribe where they are received, so it will be taken from the lot of our inheritance. And when the Jubilee of the children of Israel comes, then will their inheritance be ascribed to the inheritance of the tribe where they are received, so will their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. Then Moses commanded the children of Israel according to the word of YHWH, saying, The tribe of the sons of Joseph have spoken well. This is what YHWH commands concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, Let them marry whoever they think best, but only to the family of the tribe of their father will they marry. No inheritance of the children of Israel will be transferred from tribe to tribe, for every one of the children of Israel will retain the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. And every daughter that possesses an inheritance, in any tribe from the children of Israel, must marry one of the families from the tribe of her father, so that the children of Israel may enjoy the inheritance of their fathers. Neither will the inheritance change from one tribe to another tribe, but everyone from the tribes of the children of Israel will cling to his own inheritance, even as YHWH commanded Moses. So observe the daughters of Zelophehad. For Mahlah, Tirzah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married to their father's brothers' sons. And they were married to the families of the sons of Manasseh the son of Joseph, and their inheritance is with the tribe of the family of their father. These are the commandments and judgments that YHWH charged by the hand of Moses for the children of Israel, in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho.